One, microphones are now live. I forgot how to podcast. It's been a couple days. Jeff Grubb.
Yo.
What is the Honda Civic of computers?
The Honda Civic of computers is, it's not, e-machines are too cheap.
Hey, that was mine.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
Okay,
of course.
all right.
Oh, cool. Now I'm choppy again.
Yeah.
Fucking great. I didn't change anything. Very cool. Very cool. The Honda Civic of computers is probably a compact Presario laptop, I think, from the 90s. I think that's one that, like, if you weren't going to get something good, you were going to get a compact Presario.
Or an e-machines.
Or
Some of us
e-machine.
made two and couldn't play
E-machines
RPG
are the
games.
Dodge Neon.
That was
Wow.
also my first car.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
How long did it last?
E-machines and a Dodge Neon concurrently. Yes.
All right. That's crazy.
I already asked Jeff Grubb something. Dan Reichert, you
Yes.
recently discovered that Winnie the Pooh has a voice. Does
I've
he?
heard that. I have not seen it, but I do trust the people who told me this.
You never
Does
heard
he
anybody say, "Oh bother"?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah,
Is
that's-
that his gimmick?
That's his
Yeah.
gimmick.
Okay.
That's him.
Well, then, yeah.
Does he sound like what he? Does he sound like what you think he would have sounded like?
I definitely never thought about what he would have sounded like if he talked. That's definitely never. I've never thought about Winnie the Pooh in my life.
Do you know his friends?
I do know Eeyore, and I feel like because that is a reference that people make, like, "Oh, you're being an Eeyore." Like, oh, yeah. I assume
It's a
he's like
fuddy-duddy.
Eeyore. Yeah, I
Yeah.
assume he's a fuddy duddy. That's right. Yeah. Tigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've seen these things with my eyes on T-shirts and stuff. I just
You've
have
seen
never
his
heard
stable, then? Yeah.
Yeah, it's stable.
Stable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a rabbit, or is that Bambi?
Yes, there's a rabbit, and his name is Rabbit.
Rabbit.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Mike Minotti.
Yes.
Have you ever been tempted to eat a jar of honey with your hands?
Oh yeah. I have eaten peanut butter just like that, and I do call it Winnie the Poohing it, right? When you just kind of get in
Not the
there.
same thing.
Yeah. You got a Winnie the Pooh the jar. It's fun with honey though. I remember the first time I ever had honey, like shoot honey, and before that I was only aware of honey from Winnie the Pooh, and I assumed honey was just going. I had a very different idea in my mind of what eating raw honey would be like, and when I actually did it, it wasn't that, so I was kind of disgusted by it. It took me a little bit to warm up to honey, but yeah, it turns out you should put honey on things and not just eat it raw out of a jar,
Yeah.
a clay
yeah.
pot, if you
Man,
would.
you said so many things.
She does that a lot.
Quiet upside down frame, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to like block Jeff with something because it's bothering me.
Yeah, I can't. We do have to fix it. I can't watch him.
No,
frame
I
you
know.
like
I'm gonna try to I'll
It
do
hurts.
this.
You get to find a screenshot if you to prop up if we don't fix
There you go. Oh yeah, there you go. That'd be better.
it.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna do that. Actually, I can't. I can't look at you, Jeff.
No, I don't blame you. I can't look at me either. It's really
He's right side
bothering
up
me.
now.
Yeah, I'm not
It's
upside
not
down.
the,
I'm still
it's
very
the
framey.
frames.
Oh,
It's
the frame's bad. Yeah.
I don't care if he's upside down. It's like he's a bad
Wow.
person. That's okay. He's back rub.
He's Australian. Oh, it's upside down over there.
Mike, you didn't need
We
to
know
say
that's a
this.
joke because you believe the Earth is flat.
Okay, all right. I'll use this for Jeff. Okay. Then let's just tuck Jeff behind the layout.
No, I have not had Masahiro Ito's fuck toast.
What?
Yeah. What?
I'm answering
Yeah,
a
what?
question from chat.
Okay, and then let's do a scale to sound. Let's put it on Grubb.
Hi.
Grubb in all caps. There we go. Grubb talk.
Hello. Am I pulsating?
Yes, pulsating.
Am I
Oh,
pulsating?
weird.
You are pulse. Why is my mic suddenly hella hot?
Nothing works anymore.
There you
No.
go,
Nothing
little-
works anymore.
No.
No.
Okay. All right.
Camera
I've
failed
opened
to load. Very cool.
I've opened up an audio recording software of my choice.
Sure. Yeah.
YouTube people, this is a hot content some of you craved and wanted.
Yeah.
It's just
YouTube
us.
people.
Technical difficulties and Winnie the Pooh.
Jan Bombcast. Hi, Sean. Hi,
Oh,
Sean.
Hang on. Let me fix my mic before we really go in here. When I restarted, used the wrong
Dan
console.
handed off his cam issues to Jeff. Yeah, I got one of my cameras magically started working again, like yesterday. So
That's nice.
it's all working.
It's been pretty good. Knock on wood. My problem is that I can't get my freaking new computer shipped. It's still in back order.
Did you do one of those pre-builts?
Yeah, I thought I got it early enough that it was like when I went to buy it, it wasn't back order, but somewhere between ordering it and before it could get processed, it is back ordered.
Ah.
And you can't like ask them, hey, when will it not be back ordered anymore? They don't know. So it's like, is it? But I would like, is it like days? Is it weeks? Is it months? It's been weeks. Could be months.
I've had that same issue with a
I'm
marijuana smoking battery, which is of a different importance than your PC.
Yeah, much more important.
Yeah, the hard drugs, battery smoking. You're smoking batteries. What's happening
Yeah,
over
it's
there?
just for putting the oil cartridge in. It's just
Sure.
a little vape gimmick
Oh.
battery thing. Yeah.
All right. You okay, Jeff Grubb?
I mean, as okay as I'm gonna get.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
all right.
Oh, it's 9/11. For me.
What?
The time. It's the time
Oh,
for me.
okay.
Not the
It's-
feeling.
This is Jan's 9/11. Jeff's camera not working.
It's very close. All right. I've pulled up time.is and I'm recording.
All right.
Hot Dog Sweet says, I seem quiet. Should I yell?
Oh no, definitely not. You're not that quiet. You don't have to
I
yell.
don't.
Yell.
No, you don't
No.
have to.
Yell.
Yell. Don't yell.
I
All
think
right,
Dan's okay.
I'm on
He might be a
time.is.
smidge if anything, but
On
he's a
time.is
little low.
.com.
Perhaps I'm
Be
I'm
frank.
seeing some people say low, and some people saying you're fine. So if you're
Okay.
gonna raise it, it would be the smidgiest of smidges.
All right. All right.
Just a small smack roll, if you would.
false mackerel.
That's what Winnie the
Uh,
Pooh says, Dan.
Oh, okay.
This
All right.
grumbly
Let's
my tumble.
clap.
Is he a loser?
No,
No.
he's cool.
You know,
okay.
people like when he's just lazy.
Oh, okay.
Just think of him as like a pothead that just
Is he like
hangs
Orange
out.
Cassidy?
No, he cares more than Orange Cassidy.
Yeah,
okay.
he doesn't have Fozzie,
Yeah, he
like
feels
the Fawn's
ashamed.
energy at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who has
see.
shame?
Winnie the Pooh.
I never feel shame when I go number 2. All right, let's clap beep respectively at 0, 5, and 10.
Get in there! Get in there!
Thank you. Beautiful beeps. I'm gonna let's fade to black. Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. Welcome to the Giant Bombcast, episode 878. I'm your host and your Valentine, Jan Ochoa. What the heck? You didn't show up to dinner. I sat there waiting for you like a fool. The waitstaff had no sympathy for me. I was offered no free appetizers. But speaking about appetizers, we got the most appetizing man on this podcast, co-captain of the ship. He's like a crab rangoon because he's filled with cheese. Jeff Grubb.
I'm your chopped salad. I am all those things to you that you need me to be. There goes Mikey.
That's right. Just like things you need to be, you need a good vegetable course, and we've got the man that's in the weeds because he's deeply rooted. He's deeply seated. He's with the gourds. He is the wedge salad of this, not just this podcast, but this website. Dan Reichert.
Wow. I have to assume those are all good things. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's me. What's a wedge salad?
It's just a wedge of lettuce.
Yeah, like a wedge of the head
Like a
of
triangle?
Nah, yeah. With
Well,
like
I
a
mean,
bunch of blue
kinda.
cheese and
Yeah.
bacon on it.
On top of a triangle? Like just one big hunk of
It's a
lettuce?
hunk is
Yeah.
a good way of putting it.
You eat it with your
Hunk is
hand?
right.
No,
No,
I'm looking this up.
I think I
Oh,
think
that doesn't look as crazy as I thought. I thought it would just be like a big, like crazy, like when you go to like 7-Eleven in Japan and there's the triangle get next to the sandwiches. No, this just looks like a weird salad.
I think I
Okay.
tried to order a wedge salad at a restaurant at PAX once, and I could my brain was conflating wedge and cob at the same time, and so I think I kept I think 3 times in a row while the waiter was trying to get me to clarify what I was saying. I think I said codge.
Nice.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was very embarrassing, actually.
we got the man that is never embarrassed. He lives with
I'm
no
talking about the
shame.
clitoris all day.
Mike. Just let him finish the intro, please.
I mean the
haven't showed
clitoris.
you yet,
Oh,
please.
Mike, just let him finish.
Come on, dude. What the hell?
Ah, you're lucky I don't have access to your HR department.
We got the bad boy of games media. He's our own little sweet treat after dinner. He's a little cup of espresso. He's a little tiramisu. He's our chocolate lava cake, Mike Minotti.
I like little tiramisu. That's appropriate. That's cute. Man, Jeff has some video issues, so I tried to turn off his video cam so I didn't have to look at his framey face in our little meeting thing. I didn't realize that also stopped his audio. So Jeff, if you said anything to me in like the last 8 minutes before I realized that, I did not hear it. In fact, if you heard me laughing a lot after your introduction, it's because I thought you weren't here anymore because I didn't introduce you and then I just heard silence.
You threw a blanket over me and forgot about me.
Right.
No
yeah.
object permanence
Yeah.
for Mike
Yeah.
Minotti.
Yeah, so that was my bad. Sorry, I erased you. You're the,
Yeah, it's all
the
right.
man who erased his name.
Yeah, the man who
Wow.
raced Jeff Grubb.
Wow.
Doc is a spinoff. We're doing it.
Look at that. Valentine's Day that was this past weekend. Hope everyone enjoyed it. If you chose to celebrate, or if you decided to get very sad and just do things for yourself, don't be sad because you did a thing for yourself. How's everyone doing?
Good. Real
Great.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Real good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine, Jeff Grubb. Shit.
Yeah.
Why are you doing so good, Jeff?
I don't know. I think it's because I slept.
Oh, that would help. I did not.
Oh.
Cheating, right? Yeah.
I did not get enough sleep. I did. It was nice having yesterday off. That was pretty good.
Also, most of my sports teams aren't playing, so I don't have to get upset over grown men losing games that I have no involvement in. That's nice.
Sure. Well, yeah. Are you like? And you're watching that hockey tournament? Are you like really invested in the U.S. winning it, or is it not really about that for you?
No, I'm like, it's one of those things where it can feel very Rocky 4. The world's on fire, and not a huge fan of my government at the moment. But it's always fun to like look back at points of turmoil in history and be like, and then those two countries played each other in sports, and it's like it got rough and tumble and violent and stuff like that. And then afterward, they were all just kind of like, well, we're gonna go back and play for our teams in the professional hockey league together and hang out and be friends still. And it's like in 20 years. We'll probably be like, oh my God, can you believe we went through all that stuff? But at least we had that cool hockey game. I'm trying to look at it through that lens. And it like, the Canadians booed the national anthem. I'm like, fuck yeah, go to
Hell
town.
yeah.
I don't care. But it made the game that much better because the players took it that much more seriously. And so it felt very Rocky 4. And I love that.
I could use some relief from the government right now.
Oh yeah.
Mike Minotti, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going to generalize and ask you this question.
Oh, okay. I'm excited to see
no.
what this is.
Okay, actually 2 things, Mike.
Okay.
One, this isn't a question on you, but every time I see a Sky Breezy commercial, I just expect everyone to be exactly like you. So every person in the Sky Breezy commercial, I'm just assuming like, oh, they're all a Disney adult. They're all very pleasant to be around. And, they may have
Sure.
had lewd activities at a rainforest cafe.
They jacked All off in a
We know-
rainforest.
we know,
cafe.
we know,
All right.
Mike.
Okay,
know,
we
Mike.
get it, Mike. But the second thing, Mike, I went to a place, I got a milkshake, and they gave me a pasta straw. Have you ever used a
Oh.
pasta straw? Is that a thing?
Gosh, Jan, you unlocked a memory. I feel like I have probably at either a Disney restaurant or some gimmick restaurant like a Planet Hollywood in the 90s. Once upon a time, I was given a pasta straw somewhere. That sounds vaguely familiar. And I remember thinking it was gross because eventually the pasta gets soggy, right? It's not a great feeling. Man, where was this at? Where'd you get the pasta straw?
I just got it at a local burger joint. and like
It's like a bucatini or something.
it was like a
something
fat
little
bucatini.
It's like a okay.
That sounds Italian.
It is.
Yeah, fat bucatini. That's what they called me in high school. It was very out of place.
Okay, that's it. Hey, do you think you think straws have 2 holes or 1 hole or what?
We talked about this during Game of the Year.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Oh, I'm sorry, you don't like my question. Dan.
Pineapple on pizza?
Oh my
Hot dog
goodness!
sandwich?
Wow.
Man, get his ass. He's been destroyed here, I believe. This is what's happened here.
You know what the hell? It's not enough that you played these salacious clips of me. Gosh, I just had somebody ask me this the other day, and I realized this was going to be frowned upon so much. Holy shit. Well, the answer is 2, and fuck you.
Oh, and he rhymes too. Cool.
Fuddy-duddy.
It's so bad. I'll tell you what. In every other group of friends or whatever, I am not the fuddy-duddy. That's for sure.
I don't think you're actually a fuddy-duddy. I just gotta be ready for when you are. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really known for my dislike of fun and goofiness.
Yeah.
That's
mirth.
you all the time.
Yeah,
the
stick in the
person
mud.
that loves Disney and Disney World and the parks. The stickest in the mud.
Yep.
Well, you
Very
guys,
serious man.
Will you guys visit me if I have to go to the RFK Jr. health farms or whatever because he wants to get rid of my antidepressant? Will you guys?
Yeah, I'll come rescue you.
I think we're all gonna have our own issues.
Oh yeah.
Worse, in my opinion. There's a lot of things worse, actually, than taking away people's antidepressants and ADHD medicine and then sticking them on a farm and then telling them to do a task.
Wait, there's a farm? Is there a shoot farm being discussed? I thought Mike
he's
was
discussed
joking.
it before. Yeah. I'll tell you what's not good for your anxiety. It's hearing about this.
Oh, yeah, concentration camps. They're not weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, people could just go there for like 2 years. Like, we have lives, you know?
Don't worry. He also said he'll reparent black kids. So we're just having a good time all around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
All around, just a good
Luckily,
guy.
he won't get confirmed with those type of views, right?
Oh, boy.
Next thing you'll tell me McMahon's in there.
No. Impossible.
We'll have Paul
All
Levesque
right.
in the Congress chambers.
I'm
Yeah.
totally fine with the politics talk, but I can't fucking stand it right now. Gabe.
It's rough.
It's rough out here.
It's rough. It's hard out there to be a pimp.
I mean, we all want to say that, Mike, but you don't have to.
I forget there was 1 year at the Oscars.
You need to stop listening to hip hop, Mike.
There was 1 year at the Oscars when I still cared about movies, where it was like the best original song, and the song that won was called "It's Hard Out There to Be a Pimp" or something like that, and they won. And I never saw anybody more excited to win an Oscar in my life. It was amazing. It was the greatest thing. They were so happy.
The Hustle and Flow song or
Do
whatever
you know
it was.
who that is, Mike? Who that group
I
is?
saw it in chat. So
okay.
3-6 Mafia, but do you know what they did for wrestling themes?
Oh, didn't they do Mark Henry's?
That is
Yeah.
correct.
Wig split?
Yes, absolutely.
That song's
is
really
the one.
funny. There you go. Somebody's going to get their ass kicked. That's a good one. God, wrestling entrance songs used to be so good.
Yeah.
See, how do you expect the 4 of us to work on a fucking farm?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be real bad on there.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it's hard out there to be a pimp.
Gotta
All
stop
right.
saying that.
Well, that's the one I can't say.
You say a lot of things you shouldn't say, to be fair.
Why don't you put it on a soundboard and say it all the
Oh,
time?
you already did. Don't worry.
Thank you, Sean, for that clip in advance.
I'll just say it on command. You don't have to make the electronics do it. I'm here. I got a mouth. I have vocal cords. I'll be.
And you get paid for it if we bring you here to say it. So there
I
you go.
also need a clip of you saying, "I'm here. I've got a mouth."
Well, you know what? I was going to start with a different game on the podcast, but Mike just keeps digging himself a hole. So, what better game to talk about than a game about digging a hole?
Oh, it's so good.
I enjoyed it.
I really liked this stupid whole game.
I didn't finish this, but I did enjoy my time digging a hole.
Did the rest of us complete the hole?
I completed the hole.
Okay.
I dug the whole hole.
Okay. Well, we're going to describe it, but I am going to throw out the challenge right now. I think tomorrow afternoon, leading up to Blight Club, I think we have the great giant bomb hole off, featuring us four racing to dig a hole the fastest with punishments on the line, doled out by the winner.
I like it.
Can we call it a hole off? So it says a hole. I think that's funny.
Great giant bomb a hole.
No,
off.
well, no, you can't do it that way. You have to be like a hole off. Yeah, okay. I just want a hole in there.
giant
We can
bomb
say that a lot during the
Yeah.
stream.
That works for me.
Yeah, we can say that to Jeff right now to appease him, but let's not call it that.
Yeah.
What's the status of the punishments? We'll get to the hole in a second here. What is the status of the punishments? I saw Grubb was streaming some Grim Fandango. I finished Crimson Skies. What was the
I think Sean has yet to start Wario World, but that's not a super long game, so
Okay.
I'm sure he's like he's not competing in the hole off anyway, so that's okay.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I can see the art for the hole off already. I'll just put us as like the characters from Holes.
Okay. Yep.
We got an update from Sean. He's
Mike
been
calls
playing.
Shia.
He's been playing Wario World. And he thinks it's fun.
Nice.
It
Good
is.
pause music.
Yeah, good
Let's
game.
talk about that hole.
The game's actually called A Game About Digging a Hole. That's its full title. It's $5 on Steam.
And it's
everybody.
fun that it's called that because then you get to always do the joke. Oh, what is that about? And everyone loves it. It's a very good time. Yes.
Yep. It is. It's descriptive. There's not anything more to it than it sounds like. You're a guy that moves into a house. You got a backyard. You got a little weird shovel gimmick that's like got a battery and it's just like it's like a little back and forth guy. And so when you first start, you're trying to dig in the yard and you're just the tiniest little bits and flecks of dirt are coming off. But then you'll find a stone, you'll uncover it, and you can go to your garage and sell the stone at your computer for $1. And then you start getting upgrades to your shovel. You get upgrades to your battery. You buy a jetpack so you can get out of the hole. Because I saw a lot of people in my chat saying that like they dug in a spiral so they could get out. I did not think about that. I just dug straight down, and there was definitely a point
right away.
I wasn't buying it right away because I was like, I don't need it. And then there were definitely some times where I was like, this hole is pretty deep, and I don't know if I can like get a footing to get out of here. So bought the jetpack. That definitely helped a lot.
Okay.
I never saw what happens if you can't get out like before the jetpack.
So
I'm not sure.
eventually, when your batteries run out, it explodes, so you die.
Yep.
Do you respawn and the whole progress is still there?
Yeah, but you lose all your ore that you have on your person.
Oh, that's fine. Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
fine.
Hey, my issue with this game is I come from a different digging meta.
Sure.
I'm used to the Minecraft hold to dig, and then I can turn my brain off. Here, I have to actively click.
So
I was just holding the button.
Yes, I heard in my chat that I think Shoemaker on Nextlander was talking about that too, and that being annoying.
I was playing on Steam Deck.
Oh yeah, when you play I played with the controller. You just hold in the trigger.
Yeah, the controller just does it automatically.
See, I did it as a keyboard. I like clicking each time. Damn it, I'm doing
You're a better
real
person
work.
than us. We get it.
We
Jesus.
all know that. Yeah,
You're gonna
of
do
course.
well on the farm, all right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no.
I think for the hole off, we can use controllers, right?
Sure. Yeah. That's
Okay.
regulation.
Whatever.
Okay, controllers are allowed for the hole off.
Yeah,
Okay,
no
good.
amiibo still though.
Right. Yeah, my Fury Bowser
You can
amiibo.
bring it around though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
gosh.
you buy lamps and dynamite. Like there's certain like lava rocks and stuff like that you have to like dynamite through, and it gets dark if you go down too low. And you can put lamps on the walls. And I definitely accidentally broke a few of my own lamps by shoveling them, and that's very annoying.
It's a loop game. Any game that has a tight loop is basically just a game about digging a hole. Like really, that's what this revealed to me is. Oh, okay. I am making progress out into this wilderness. This just being my yard. I got as far as I can kind of get on the amount of resources I have. I go back, I upgrade my resources, I drop stuff off, make some money, and now I can go a little bit further next time. And also I have the capacity to carry more. So it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm just going to do that loop until I get to the end. It's a very satisfying thing. It works in all kinds of games. SteamWorld Dig 2, very similar. The fact that they just kind of boil it down to just what this is here reveals like, oh, just going through this process is a fun thing on its own. It's a little bit like a clicker game with gameplay in a lot of ways.
Totally.
Yeah.
This game is working silently. How about that? Sorry,
I installed Firefox.
Oh, look at that. It's funny because we'll talk about it in a bit, but I was having a very grand time like going heads down in Avowed, and then Dan yelled at everyone in our little Discord to play a game about digging a hole. And then here's this AAA game that is great, absolutely fantastic. My attention was wrapped for like a good at least half an hour to an hour playing this $5 game. I love
Yep.
video games.
Yeah, it was like a good little break. For, I've been just like binging Avowed for the last
Same.
week, and it's like, all right, let me just here's 90 minutes, 2 hours. I could just dig a damn hole. Nothing more to it, nothing deeper, no deeper meaning or twist or anything really. And then it's just you're done, and it's like that was a satisfying time.
I think there was a deeper meaning, but it's kind of a spoiler. I think it's
To the whole game?
anti-capitalist, anti-greed.
It's
Are you serious?
no man's an
A little.
island. I think is what it's going for.
I am serious about the anti-greed thing a little bit.
We'll talk about it during the hole off.
Okay.
I don't want to give spoilers to the thing. Well, I thought the game was beautiful, right? It's just like this perfect distillation of being a video game, of what progression should look like in this, like especially that's the word, progression, and how that can work. Because you do start off with this tiny shitty little shovel, and you're getting $1 at a time, and then you just slowly ramp up to, like when you get the drill, that's like one of the most satisfying upgrades I ever got in a video game. I was just like, oh, here we go. Now we're really partying. Because again, especially because I was clicking for each shovel with the drill, then it's automatic. So that was a huge benefit to me. And yeah, you're like, instead of getting a stone and selling it for $1, you're finding gold and selling it for so much more. There's a couple little secrets here and there. It was super satisfying to like kind of set the lights where you want to light up your path. Gosh, just such a simple idea executed about as well as it could be.
I mean, there's a time where it's like you realize this is how all progress works, right? Where you are digging one little thing at a time, and then suddenly you look up and there's this like tiny little spiral that you just naturally created that goes, 50 meters above you. And like, oh my God, I didn't even realize I was that deep. And that is a really cool moment where it's like, okay, cool. I really have made a ton of progress, even though it never felt that way because it's one digging hole at a time. I will say, I don't super love the way the digging looks, like the way like it kind of leaves like the weird spires of dirt and stuff like that. This is a $5 game, and it totally works for what this game is. But I'm like, I would have preferred if there was a little bit more to the way like especially as you upgrade the shovel, if it just would have felt more dirt like. But no, this game does what it needs to do.
Yeah, it kind of bugged me sometimes where it's like it's easy to leave a couple little floating specks of dirt. And it's like, but they will have collisions. So as you're jetpacking, you're like, fuck, where is that thing? I got to get rid of that,
So when I got the drill, I would kind of like look straight up and I would jetpack out and I would turn the drill on and try to drill right straight above me so I could clean those up a little bit.
And just tidy up the hole.
Yeah, a little bit. Tidy up the hole. That's right.
I love what Jeff was streaming Griffin Dango, and he started talking about this because Dan wanted him to play it. And he's like, now chat, like, what do you have to do with the dirt? Do you have to like then get rid of the dirt? Like, do you have to take care of the dirt? And they told him no, and Jeff was really disappointed.
my ideal digging game is that eco game, ECO, where you have to account for all the dirt. So as you like are digging holes, like you can only carry like 5 blocks of dirt. It's Minecraft like on your person, and then you can like take that to a wheelbarrow. And so you have to kind of like make these shafts through the mine that are big enough to have people down there and these tools and these wheelbarrows so that you can load those up with like 100 blocks of dirt. And then someone takes that up while you continue to mine. And it was like becomes this team effort. And it's like such a good representation of like working together and thinking ahead. But this game's not trying to do that at all. And I mean, it got an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. Just a perfect little distillation, as Mike said.
For $5, yeah. It is, it's always wild when, like, what's pretty obviously the game of the year comes out in February, right?
Yeah,
well, it's a front runner for best hole of the year.
Oh yeah.
Which one though? My hole or your hole or Jeff's hole?
Our collective hole.
Yeah, we have a hole together, Mike.
Our communist hole. Okay,
yes.
Gotcha.
Community holes.
Community holes. It sounds like we're very in deep with a game about digging a hole, but it also sounds like we're in very deep. Y'all talked about this, I believe, last Friday, but Avowed.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm definitely at the point where like last night I got to the point where it's like, all right, you can't go back after this. This is the final stretch here, and I was getting kind of tired, so I went to bed rather than play the end of the game tired. So probably gonna be that tonight. I'm right around 50 hours, and I would say I've been doing a pretty completionist thing. I've gotten every one of the like gold totems and all that stuff in every area. I've done all the bounties, done every side quest, done all that shit. And if you want like the more like intro level on what Avowed is conversation, we talked about it quite a bit on Bombcast for Vengeance last Friday. Seems like most of us are very, very hot on it. I continue to be super hot on it, even right at the end. But yeah, where are you guys at with it?
I think I'm about to go to the second area, but I did want to clean up some of the bounties before I went. I also have like a weird side quest, which Dan, I think I'm just gonna ask you for help with. The one that is about like optional totems, like go find totems in the world. Is that something that I'm gonna be I would be able to come back to, or should I try to clean up anything with that like while I'm on that first island?
It's worth getting those, like to at least have one full totem, because each area has 6 of those gold things you can find, and including the base or the tower or whatever. And they give you passive bonuses. So there's like 6 different, and they're all worth having. And you can have one like totem active at a time. So you should at least, especially in that first area, get all 6 before you move on, activate it, and then you'll have all these passive bonuses going on.
I have just haven't really looked at it too closely yet. Is it like if I set that as my main objective, will it kind of point me in the right direction, or do I have to like piece some stuff together?
You can find or buy like a sheet that is like, it'll give you like clues on like this one sits atop of an amethyst tower or something.
I think I've seen that. Okay.
So get that. But I will also say that if you don't want to just do the straight up Easter egg hunt, there is a thing in accessibility where you can turn on specifically the gold totem things on your compass. So that won't give you a waypoint on your map, but if you are in the area, you will see like a gold thing with an up or a down. So like, you can kind of make that a little shorter if you don't want to scour every little bit, or you can have.
I might try for a little bit, then I might turn that on. That's interesting.
Another way, if you don't want to turn that on, is you get the ranger guy, one of your companions. He has an ability that just kind of like ear to the ground, can tell.
I use that all the time.
Yeah, highlights where everything is. That will help you find the gold totems too.
Okay, cool. All right, very cool. I'll do that. Either way, about to go to the second area. I've also started playing on Steam Deck. I was wasn't sure if it would work natively on the Steam Deck. Then when I was going to stream it, I saw once again on the Steam page, they're like, "Hey, the default settings for this game run fine on the Steam Deck." Now, it's a bordering on fine, and there's definitely areas where it's pretty rough. But it uses FSR3, basically an upscaling tech from AMD, and I set that to like performance instead of quality, which is what it defaulted to. And so I think I'm getting a little bit better frame rate, but it definitely still looks really rough because it's on the lowest settings and it's using the lowest setting of FSR. So a lot of artifacting and weirdness, but it's still that game mostly, and this has enabled me to play more now. And so it's like people that were asking me, "Hey, can it work on Steam Deck?" I don't know if I would buy it just to play it on Steam Deck, but maybe if you have a Roger Ally a little bit more powerful, maybe that's a little bit better. But it does technically actually work. It does function, I suppose.
But you can also do the stream thing if you just want to stream from a computer in your house.
Yes, and that works really.
Wi-Fi.
Of course, that works really.
I might do that.
Yep.
I mean, it's such a pretty game that that's why I'm like hesitant about that. Like, yeah, you technically it can work, but man, if you're gonna pay money for this game, you really should get your money's worth and try to play it on a big boy PC.
Yeah, I'm still super early in the game, about like 10 or so hours, and I've been enjoying every aspect of it. Like I was a little worried because y'all, when we were talking about it prior to release, just very high on it, and sometimes expectations and reality. But I've been digging it, and I've also been trying to combat wise play it differently than how I normally would, because I would normally just approach it like sword and shield or some type of melee weapon, but I just love how dumb the wand looks and how you were just exactly, you were just like whipping that around, and when you get a crit and like you kind of just like stick the dude in place and throw a bunch of stupid spells at him.
It's not a crit. That's there is a stamina bar. It's like
there's
a poise bar, like in
poison meter. Yeah.
Okay, that's
and
what
so
that
when you
is.
fill that yellow bar, that's when it's like that combo attack thing.
And that's why that's crucial to like prime them with your companions, right? So that like vine move that the second companion has that holds people still really good for breaking their poise. And you can hold them there and then attack them a few times. And a lot of times it's a weaker enemy. They will just be fully poised out, and so you could just attack them, and you'll do that awesome attack every time. It's really great.
Speaking of things that feel good in that game, Mike, specifically for you, you've been playing, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know the party camp where you go back and you can level up and talk to your companions and stuff? Sure. All right. So you know the feeling in Mega Man, the NES ones, where you get to a boss door and you jump into it and he kind of hovers until he gets there and drops?
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yep. You want to leave the party camp, don't talk to the address stone, and there's that barrier, that invisible barrier where it's like, do you want to leave here?
Yeah.
Jump into that. And then say you want to leave, load screen, it's day, and then you land. It's the Mega Man thing. So that's for you.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I want to start playing
Hell
right
yeah.
now.
I did that
wanna-
every single time. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Oh, gosh. No, yeah, I still been playing it. I like it a lot. I didn't play a ton of it this weekend because some other things I've been playing that I can't talk about. One thing we can't talk about yet, but
Soon.
I've been having so much fun, and I am glad hearing other people are enjoying it a lot. My brothers have jumped in. They keep talking about it. By the way, my brothers also were like in my group messages right now, detective figuring out where we got noodle as a straw at. It was a very local Italian place that closed like 30 years ago called the Italian Oven. So
Give him a plug.
shouts to the Italian Oven, everybody.
That's what we
in
also
Boardman,
call Mike
Ohio.
Yeah, that's
Hey.
Mikey's. Yeah.
Yeah. They used to have a peanut butter and jelly pizza, apparently, that my brothers remember. That sounds gross.
Huh.
Cool.
I would
I
try,
would try
it.
it.
But I've
Yeah.
also enjoyed the writing in
Yes.
Avowed a lot.
Yes.
Like, I kind of like how like the first two characters you meet are kind of super cheesy, and I just couldn't keep looking at this blue elf-looking dude. I'm like, all right, okay, am I gonna be stuck with you? I'll learn to deal with it. You're very nice, but then he quickly gets replaced with, this world's Garrus,
Another blue
Yeah.
character.
another
But-
blue character, but he's cool.
But the first
Oh, I thought
blue
you
guy,
were denigrating Kai.
Kai?
Oh, you were talking about Garrick. Yes.
Oh,
I
the
love
first
Garrick.
guy. Yeah, so
Garrick's
Garrick's the
great.
first guy you meet, the little blue fuzzy guy.
Yeah.
And I think I was the first one of this group to start playing it. And I was pretty early on in the Discord being like, this game kicks ass. And then Grubb's like, all right, I'll start it. And like 5 minutes later, just screenshot to the Discord of the blue fuzzy guy. And Grubb's like, Dan, you're liking a game with this guy in it? Like, yes, I am.
See, I just thought you were like, no, Garrick's my dude. I'm like, all right, let's go.
He's growing. So
You know who's not, though? Yachtsley. You'll meet Yachtsley. And
Okay.
I don't
Yeah, I
want to be
haven't
part
met
of
Yachtsley
Yachtsley.
yet.
Okay,
Yeah,
I've not
I
met
don't-
him yet.
don't like the name. I feel like I'm playing Yahtzee. And that's
It's
I
like
don't know.
it's like if Harley Quinn turned into like a weird rabbit lady, and it's like I don't
might
want
be,
any-
I might be okay with that.
I
Does she
don't
have-
like it.
Does she have Tiny Tina energy?
She's like a Tiny Tina's weird aunt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of hot.
That's also just the name of the next game.
Tiny Tina's weird aunt. Not bad, actually.
Yeah.
No,
pretty
I
good.
might check that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying my time with Avowed. I I like all the fungus stuff. The game is very super fucking pretty.
It's
Yeah,
so
and it's just
pretty,
it
the
doesn't look
colors.
like every like fantasy trope thing. Like it's like kind of it's got a unique feel to it. And I like just
Yeah.
the setup of the story of like you coming in from this Adarian, army with a thing for the emperor, and then you just realizing it's like, everyone here fucking hates me. Wait, am I bad? Does Adaria suck?
And like I think that's pretty well worn territory for the genre, but it's like that's completely fine. I'm expecting well worn, like wrung out storytelling from a fantasy game these days. Just do like if you're going to operate in that realm, just kind of make sure that it's fun and enjoyable and like it gives me a propellant as a player character, which 100% they nail. I mean, the setup. This isn't really a spoiler. This is the setup to the game. You walk into the main town and your character gets assassinated. And a god brings you back to life, and so you're investigating your own murder. Like that is such a good way to keep players invested in what is happening in the story, because it's like, oh, okay, I have a personal stake in this. I want to know what's going on there, and that one thing leads to another, and you unravel more and more of like what is happening in this world. And so it's like all that stuff it nails. And so I'm a little bit confused about some of the criticism about its story, where people are really just like, they're expecting a lot more from it. And I guess that comes from, well, Obsidian made Fallout New Vegas. And I guess this is not Fallout New Vegas. This was never trying to be that game, though. It's a very different game, and it nails what it's going for. So I'm just like, I'm just going to play this game as what it is.
It's funny. I never put this together, but now chat's pointing it out. That whole you get killed and you have to solve your own murder thing. That's also the starting setup of New Vegas. So that's
Sure,
pretty
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, right.
But going back to just the way the game looks, and I think it's so important for this game to have this sort of stunning and very identifiable art style. Right? Like watching that state of play last week, there was a point where there were all these games, especially those character action games that don't look bad, but they look so similar. I love the fact that if you showed me a screenshot of Avowed, a random screenshot from almost anywhere, I would probably be able to say that's from Avowed, right? There's just a distinctiveness to it.
Yeah.
God. The other thing about the writing and the look that I enjoy is I made my dude just have like a tree face. and I love that everyone
went for it.
reacts to it.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, what the fuck, dude?
Like, oh, God.
I was such a coward with my godlike face. I picked the least distinct one because I didn't really quite understand what it was. Like, I don't want to
didn't
have
either.
a giant fungus on my face, and now I realize it's a very important part of the story. It's like, I'm a coward. I'm a bad
Did you do the
person.
one where it's just like a couple like little red things?
Oh yeah,
That's
It's
what
like
I did
nothing.
too. Yeah, I did the
we're
exact same
cowards,
thing.
Dan.
Yes.
We're cowards.
My
We're
guy
bad
just looks like
people.
Seth Rollins with a couple like red like under eye, football
Yeah.
paint.
My guy's just Will Ferrell with the horns and then like flowers on his cheeks.
Yeah.
Jeff's guy
Yeah.
looks great.
Yeah, I'm very happy with my man.
Jeff did good.
Well, it sounds like we're all going to keep playing that, and I'm going to keep driving and keep driving. I've talked a little bit about this, but it is Oregon Trail, basically.
Right.
Um,
How are so you've been playing it for like the last couple of weeks. You've stuck with it. It's like kind of kept giving you more stuff to engage with, or what?
I don't think I'll stick with it further. I do enjoy the vibe. I enjoy the look of it. I wish they had the option though to turn off like the stylized like retro text and just have plain text because
Right.
sometimes it hurts my eyes.
Yeah, give me some Comic Sans for my mild dyslexia.
Yeah, give me some papyrus. And then we'll talk. Bring me to the way of water. But similar to an Oregon Trail, you have this gigantic map, and you have like an end destination of like, okay, you got to go all the way over here, but to get all the way to like the right side of the map, you have to make several stops. And then once you go through those stops, on the way, you have a bunch of random encounters, and sometimes those random encounters are a traffic jam, a flat tire, or road rage, and the game will pop up different icons, and those different icons will target your different resources. So maybe in this turn you're going to lose gas if you don't take care of it with these cards you have, because it is also on top of an Oregon Trail. It is also a card game as well, where you have a different ability to attack the gas or attack your energy, your hunger, your car's health. And you, during those random encounters, you are trying to conserve as much energy as possible. When you pick up a hitchhiker or a friend, you also gain their abilities. So you can switch off to like, oh, this hitchhiker, her abilities target every little icon or pip that will target my car health or my energy, or she will buff me and give me an extra turn or something. And you are also leveling up your hitchhikers as you go, depending on the car you choose. And when you first start a run, you're only given like an old beat up Camaro. And you are upgrading that by putting in a grid similar to a Resident Evil different parts. And also you got to get some food in there to heal you up or to boost your energy. You were managing a lot of different resources. And like I said, I enjoy the vibe. It's just very hard and hurts my eyes to read it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like the flow of the game does kind of get stale because you were just doing the same random encounters. Like even if they are different instances of different things, you were still gameplay wise doing the same thing, and it's kind of gotten old for me. You do get to do fun activities when you're like kind of going to your different destinations. Like one of the very first things they have you do is like, oh, you can pick up a job to deliver this band's equipment to a different destination. And for me, it worked out that I would have to go back to different map pips and then go to a different route. So that took a while, but if Oregon Trail was your jam and you kind of just like vibing out and doing some light, I wouldn't say tactics, but like card-based mechanics, maybe Keep Driving is your jam. The music in it is fantastic though. So I might actually pick up the soundtrack.
I just saw the title of it and I was like, ooh, I wonder if this is like Speed. If it's like a gimmick where like, oh, you can't stop driving, you got to keep driving. That sounds like it's for me. I Google it and the first line on Steam is, Keep Driving is an atmospheric management RPG. Okay. I think I had the wrong read on that one.
Yeah, it is definitely not that, but it is a new take on a classic of Oregon Trail. And
Yeah,
speaking
Oregon
about,
Trail, FTL, that sort of thing.
I
Yeah.
have so much nostalgia for Oregon Trail that's kind of has me interested in this. Was I forget if you said, is there like a destination that you're really trying to get to, like an Oregon
Oregon.
Trail. It'd be fine if it was Oregon.
like the right side of the map. I forget the specific destination they plot out.
Ohio?
That's not where Oregon is.
Yeah. Well, depending on
flip
where
it
you
upside
start,
down.
It's
Oregon
upside
could be-
down.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because your car's going from left to right here, so it's like the opposite of Oregon Trail. Everything
Yeah.
was right to left
Yeah.
on that one.
Speaking about a classic, I don't know who's been playing it, but someone had put Overwatch Classic.
Yeah, we played this on Friday, and I wanted to bring it up because I haven't played this before.
Is this like Marvel Rivals?
It's
a
just
Marvel.
like it.
It's a Marvel Rivals like, and it was a very good time. And I had not played much Overwatch 2 at all. Frankly, I haven't played much Overwatch since they've changed many of the characters. I don't know when they did most of that. Maybe that was Overwatch 2. Either way, I was like going back to this and playing with Mike and Sean, and it was like, oh, okay. They keep talking about how this character still plays the way they did originally, as opposed to how they play now. I'm like, oh my god, they changed May, and a bunch of these other characters. They don't function the way that I would want them to function. That's crazy. You absolutely need Overwatch Classic if that's the case. I had a really good time and was reminded, Overwatch, a very good video game. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was so fun. I played so much of original Overwatch, especially those first few years. So going back there, even just small things like Hanzo having his bounce arrow ability that they eventually got rid of for this rapid fire shot, that it was more fair, but also way less fun, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
just small things like that. And it was still 6v6, right? It's not the 5v5 thing that Overwatch 2 became. It's funny because it seems like just a lot of those Overwatch 2 things are getting slowly reversed. Like they've been introducing 6v6 as an option, at least, and stuff like this. The loot boxes are coming back, right? So that whole Overwatch 2 model, probably not a great idea, especially because they sold it with that whole co-op campaign that was canceled. Although it's funny because like we're seeing more live service games have to like resort to that. It's like Rainbow Six Siege just announced Siege X, which is basically like their attempt at the same kind of thing. At some point, you got to do some kind of, I don't want to say desperate, but big update. And you have to say how big it is by adding a 2 or an X or something there, I guess.
Speaking about going back to things, Mike, you've been going back to Astrobot. Actually, you all have.
Yeah.
I've not had a chance to get into this.
Am I in the lead still, Mike?
I think you're in the lead. So yeah, new, kind of to my surprise, I think to your surprise too, Dan. They're dropping another 5 speedrun levels, which is really neat. And the first one's cool because it's that time stopping gimmick, which is one of the better power ups from the base game. Actually, I never did the monkey climbing one from the last set, so I did that real quick before starting that, and boy did I hate that.
It's definitely the weakest one, but I had to do it just so I could have like that overall leaderboard win.
I did it just like to get the 2 bots. I was like, that's enough of that. This feels so much better. But yeah, like Dan set a time, so then I went and I beat the time. We went back and forth a little bit. I will say there's another seal skip in this one, like in that ice level. I tried doing it for a bit. I'm just like,
there's two of them. There's 2 that you can do. And I've not even one time gotten either of them to work.
No, exactly. I was like, okay, I'll try it. And like 30 minutes of trying. It's not like, I'm not executing it right. I'm not even getting it, the trigger. And I'm just like, this isn't really fun.
Yeah,
I don't.
In the last seal skip one, that level, like I was hitting that like almost every time. Like that was
Yeah,
not
you
that
learn what
bad
you
by
need to do,
comparison. This one I cannot figure out.
The thing with this one is that it's not like, the seal reacts as soon as you hover on him. He's on a cycle. You have the time stopping thing, so you can kind of use that to manipulate the cycle a little bit.
I didn't realize that.
Yes, it's still it's very tricky. So yeah, that's why it was fun. It was fun competing with Dan because I don't think either of us are going for the seal skips anyways. But like Vitaly's destroying both of us because I think he is doing the seal.
He got the seal skip, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He's better than us. So
Don't give this to Vitaly.
it's fun though, and it's just awesome to see them keep bringing content to this game. It's a great time excuse to go back to it because I just really like playing Astrobot.
Great bot in this one.
Oh right, yes,
the one that you unlock. Yeah,
that's a good one.
One of my favorites.
I need to go play this. It's hard to make time with all these other games because as soon as I play something like this, of course, then I'm locked in. That's all I want to do. So I keep trying to avoid it, but I'll just give in and play.
Speaking about other games coming out, I believe Nikki talked about this on Bombcast Revengeance last Friday, if you missed it. But I was also down in LA playing Split Fiction with them.
Spliction.
Whoa. Spliction. Yes, I've started calling it Spliction internally in my head as well. Thank you, Mike Minotti.
Good.
If you have played It Takes Two or his Joseph Ferris's other
A Way Out.
A Way Out. A Way Out. Yeah.
Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Brothers.
Brothers
is like one
isn't
player.
actually a co-op game, right?
Yeah.
I feel like
Right.
people
Oh,
forget
sure,
that.
sure,
That
sure.
is
Yeah.
just-
I
yeah.
played it 2-player. Yeah.
This is one of those. I think this is very ambitious with the different levels and mechanics that they're going for. I think we have a front runner if we want to introduce this category, though, for best hot dog of the year.
Okay.
There is a moment where you transform into a hot dog and you have to cook yourself by rolling around. Like, the game is real silly. I just hope that overall the game's story doesn't take itself too seriously, because everything else seems to be like, ha ha ha, okay, that's crazy, that's weird, we're in a fictional world. But then when you get to the actual serious story bits, it's like, I don't know. You guys not in on the joke? Is there a joke that we're doing?
That was not the strong point of their other stuff too, you know. Like
Yeah.
certainly not It Takes Two.
It's like the moment.
Is it like that? That just happened kind of writing sort of
No,
thing?
like the moment to moment stuff is like, oh, that's weird, or like, oh, you have to do something like very unexpected, and they're pulling off the mechanic very well. And it's so funny because, like, when Nikki and I were playing, we were so locked into our different perspectives, where the couple times we had to repeat a set piece or whatever, I would look over at Nikki's screen and they would look over at my screen, and it's like, oh, you are doing something completely different and you saw different things. I do have to ask EA's PR, because we did record some of the gameplay, but I kind of want to just release the audio of Nikki and I yelling at each other. Also, the photographer loved us. We were having a whale of a time playing the game. I'm very excited because the different mechanics that they did show, I kind of wasn't clicking with it originally when you start the game, but as you progress through and like the different stuff they had you doing, it's like, oh, if the divorce game didn't make people actually want to get a divorce, this game will, because you need the other person to be on the same wavelength as you and not skipping or like not looking at their phone or looking away. Both of you need to be locked in for Split Fiction. I'm excited. That's coming out in March.
That's
in,
soon.
It's out in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jesus
geez.
Christ.
That is gonna be fun. I mean, It Takes Two was a really, really good time. And like just the platforming actually felt so good in that game. That was one of the biggest surprises of it for me. It's just like the running around and the jumping feel really good in this one too.
It does. Not at first, but like I said, when you kind of take on different power mechanics, that winds up feeling good. The thing I do worry about though is like, okay, the main story feels very hammy and not in a good way. But like the moment to moment stuff, like within your level and like within the levels and the banter between the characters, it's like, okay, they're starting to warm up to each other. And I'm kind of warming up to them. They're both kind of jerks at first, but it's like, oh, okay, we're understanding each other.
It's like a sci-fi writer and a fantasy writer, right?
Yes.
And they find common ground. Just like how it's a wouldn't it be terrible if it was like try to be like this is a lefty and this is a rightist and they should find common ground? If that's what they're going for here.
Impossible. How could that ever happen?
Why don't we just talk out our problems?
What, you expect me to listen to someone else and look at the facts?
No, it's about centrists.
It's funny though, because there are other authors in the game that you see at the
R.L.
opening
Stine?
cinematic. No, not shoot authors. Just like other people. And then I just wonder what their world looks like. If like, what if someone was just like, I just want to make a test prep book.
Yeah, they should have like those people who wrote that really long Smash Brothers fan fiction or whatever, the one. Yeah, or the guy who wrote the thing with Obama and the Chaos Emeralds.
Oh, you mean the Chaos Emeralds?
God, Obama's got to actually say that one time for a camera before he dies, please.
I was like kind of hoping Sonic 3's post-credit scene was going to have that. I'm like, they could probably make that happen here pretty soon.
I think Sonic 4 will get there.
I think one of the Sonic movies will eventually make that happen.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. Okay. Sure. Let's get Obama in movies.
He's a movie producer. He made a bunch of movies
You
for
got a
Netflix
Netflix
or
deal,
whatever.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Uh,
Split fiction. I guess my last question about that would be like, okay, so this thing's out in 2 weeks. Are you happy still that they are sticking with their core competency of no, this is a co-op game? Would you want? Okay, yeah, you wouldn't want them to
Totally.
change that. Yeah,
I
okay.
would not want them to change that because like they nailed it with It Takes Two. They're the only ones doing this
Yeah.
as well, right? Like I
Sure.
can't think of any other like
one is.
hardcore.
Yeah, From
necessary
Software has
co-op.
abandoned cookies and cream, so yeah, it's up to
Mhm.
them.
And
Yeah, don't forget your roots, guys. Jeez.
Come
brought
on.
Armored Core back. We can dream.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, hey, we're gonna turn a game about digging a hole into a co-op game and a competition. So
I mean,
Actually, not a
didn't they-
co-op game at all. Just a
Didn't they
No,
do
no.
that with because I compare the whole game to like Power Wash Simulator in terms of like how it feels, the
Yeah.
satisfaction. Didn't they add co-op to Power
Yeah,
Wash like
they
months
did.
later? All right, keep an eye on that hole.
One of the first things I ever did with you guys was I went to Jeff's house while you guys were doing co-op Power Wash Simulator on a UPF, and he had to do something with the kids, so I just jumped in and
That's
started
right.
talking to everybody.
oh,
Nice.
I think that's the
okay.
first time I ever appeared on Giant Bomb content, actually.
Mhm, that
On
sounds right, yeah.
Whatever that UPF was. I may have been on a Game S Mornings. I don't know.
Well, we talked about Obama, and the White House right now is a little bit of a maniac mansion.
Oh my,
That's cute. That's
the
funny.
segue master.
Yeah,
Jesus.
right. This was kind of my weekend. This is how I had fun this long weekend. Maniac Mansion was a 1987 computer game originally for Apple IIs and Commodore 64s. I actually played the 89 version made for DOS with slightly better graphics. I think I talked before about how much I like LucasArts adventure games. I made Jeff play Grim Fandango, which is kind of the pinnacle of
I'm
that.
enjoying
And
that.
it's wild because that's basically like the second to last one. There's a Monkey Island after that. But, it's like that whole era, which to me is this giant deal. These LucasArts adventure games is from 87 to like 2000. And Grim Fandango
Mhm.
is 98, right? These days, like a game from 12 years ago is, newer than Skyrim, right? Things just don't change as much as they used to. But yeah, like as much as I love these games, I never really played that much of Maniac Mansion. I think even I was like, oh, that's so old. Am I still going to be able to have fun with it? Is it going to be too obtuse? Blah blah blah. But luckily you could just buy these games on GOG. They automatically run the kind of emulator shell, which is
DOSBox,
Scum
yeah.
VM, Scum VM,
Oh, Scum
for
VM,
this,
right? Yes,
which
right.
is amazing. So very easy to play it. And yeah, I just actually had a very, very good time with this still. It is that classic point and click style. It's simpler than some of the later games, especially in terms of story. You don't have things like the dialogue trees and whatnot. There's still so much here that's clever and creative. The kind of gimmick is that you have like 6 or 7 characters you can pick from. You're taking 3. You always have to take the main guy, and he's kind of, just a normie. Then the other characters all have special things that give them access to certain abilities, and there's different endings you can get depending on what characters you have. Like, you can bring in this character who's an author into the mansion. The whole point is you're trying to save this girl, the guy's friend. And since he's an author, you can beat the game by so it's an evil meteorite who's the bad guy, right? There's a bad meteorite. Well, you can find the meteorite's manuscript for a novel that he wrote. It's really bad though, but as the writer, you can kind of doctor it up a bit and then mail it to a publisher and get him a book signing contract. If you give that to him, he'll give up his life of crime and become an author instead, right? So that's one thing
Okay.
you can do. Or like instead of that, you can find the phone number for the meteor police, and you can fix a radio with the nerd character Bernard. That's another way that you can. So yeah, it's just like okay, so like depending on what characters you have in there are different routes you can take. Also, as I learned recently, because Jeff asked me this quiz question on our podcast, what's the first game to use the term cutscenes? It's Maniac Mansion, because everything kind of runs on a clock. So like 10 minutes in, this event will happen. And it also kind of sets some of the characters on certain paths because they can run into you and throw you in the dungeon and things like that. Go ahead, Jan.
I have a question for y'all because y'all are so much smarter than me with game stuff. Why is it called a cut scene when cut scenes in movies are scenes that are cut?
Mm.
Oh, I think here the idea is that
Yeah.
it's cutting to a scene.
Oh.
So it's because it's not. Yeah, especially in this game, right? Because it cuts away from what the player is doing and whatever room they're in to show these other characters interacting for a moment.
I think it's that like Mike, you described it. It's like it's on a timer. It happens at a certain point, like kind of no matter what.
Right.
Or...
Yeah, I think there might be some things that may interfere with it. But like for example, at a certain point, a package will arrive for the one character living in the mansion, and he's going to go answer the door. So that gives you an opportunity to sneak into his room and do some things. It also gives you an opportunity to steal the package, which you might want because you can then get a stamp from it, which was important for me mailing that manuscript later, right? Things like that. There's also a pretty infamous thing in this game where only two of the characters, the biggest miscreants, are able to steal a hamster. You can steal a hamster in the game. In fact, you have to steal a hamster. But only these two can then put the hamster into a microwave.
Oh, this is that. Okay.
This is that game. And then you can microwave the hamster, and it explodes. It's as far removed as can you pet the blank as you can possibly get. Then you can take the hamster bits and show them to the owner, and he'll kill you.
And how horny did this all make you, Mike?
Not very at all.
Did this remind you of an Italian restaurant you visited as a child?
No, it ended up in a rainforest cafe. Thank you. It didn't even remind me of that. No.
Okay.
Okay. Characters can't die. You can still finish the game if some of them are dead. Because again, you have 3. But you also can't like soft lock yourself out of things too, right? It's not quite as elegant as later LucasArts games are pretty forgiving with that. They aren't like this, or even the Sierra games where you can die. You can just kind of get in these situations where you have to restart the game or load a save file or whatnot. But yeah,
Mike's novelty Twitter account of "Can you microwave the dog?" is just not as popular as some of these other ones. People don't like it.
Turns out.
God, I remember being like 6 or 7 going to the video store, and I would always just rent games based off the box art back then. And I saw that, it's like, oh, that's an interesting looking box art, like spooky game, and then totally expecting it's like it's an NES game, it's a platformer. I get home. And I instantly started, I'm like, I'm not controlling the... Wait, what is this? Like, I probably didn't know what a cursor was at that point. Like, what is all this, like, menu stuff? And, like, I've never more quickly as a child been like, fuck this, take it back to the store. I never want to play a game like this again. Like, my first experience with that.
I discovered that, like, these games, with actually this game's sequel, Day of the Tentacle, on PC, and I probably picked that up more like in 95. And I really did fall for it, but I was also familiar with things like misc, so I was aware of the concept of pointing and clicking, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, that NES version, like I've always heard about that, and I thought it sounded like a weird novelty. But then for funsies, I played through all of that the day after I played this PC version, right? I got an emulator going, I got the Switch NES controller hooked up to my PC. Since I knew what I was doing, I looked up some stuff for some of the other endings. I was like, oh, let's just play through it like this. It actually worked really well on NES. I was pretty surprised because they do some smart stuff. Like, so, you know, in these LucasArts adventure games, these earlier ones, there's like these list of verbs in the bottom that you can click to interact with the world. So, you know, you click on literally the words pick up, and then you click on the key. But by pushing the select button, you can cycle through some of the most popular verbs like use or open. So that streamlines everything pretty nicely. It also looks nice on NES, and the NES version has a soundtrack. The PC versions are mostly quiet, and the NES music was very good. So, yeah, I had a ton of fun playing it that way as well.
Sounds like just in my head, Maniac Mansion was Day of the Tentacle. I did not really realize it was like, oh, this is much older. Same. And I when I was watching you play, I'm like, oh, I really did not have a frame of reference for how this game actually looked. So it was cool to see you playing this.
Day of Tentacle, and again, Day of Tentacle is only 6 years later, and it looks so much newer and more cartoon-like.
It looks like a Saturday morning cartoon. Yeah.
The strangest thing I did in my Maniac Mansion weekend
frenzy.
So there was also a Maniac Mansion TV show.
Oh,
they sold the show to the fine folks at the Family Channel at the time, and a lot of people from like SCTV. Eugene Levy was kind of the lead writer on this thing. This show ran for 3 seasons there. The show is wild. It has almost nothing to do with the game except for the meteorite. There's the meteors there. The guys. There's like a guy named Fred Edison who's the scientist. His the uncle who lives in the house got turned into a fly. So he's just a guy in a fly costume in green screens to look really tiny. So that's weird. Yeah, the very first episode of the show was called the 10th anniversary special. So it was a gag. They were pretending the show had been running for 10 years, and it was a clip show. Yeah,
That's
it
good.
was.
I like
Yeah,
that.
so
That's
I
a good
watched the
bit.
first 2 episodes of this thing. That was wild. I kind of want to see all of them now. It's very weird.
Okay. On top of us winning an Emmy, it
Mhm.
is now my additional goal for us to make a movie for Tubi.
Tubi movie.
Because
Hell yeah.
I feel like we just got to get Dan and Bacalar in the pitching room to the Tubi execs, and they'll be like,
Yeah.
all right, here's $100,000.
Just say the phrase, "This was too hot for Crackle, but we think you guys can handle it."
All right, I like
I
it.
think that's the magic
there we
term.
go. There we go.
Yeah.
I can't wait for all of us to be like Tubi celebrities.
To be or not to be. They've
I
had to have
watched
done
the
that,
Super
right?
Bowl on Tubi because I just canceled my YouTube TV because it got too expensive. So
What's the
I'm
gimmick?
a-
Was it just extra ads or?
No, it was just Fox. So they just like streamed Fox onto Tubi. I think it was like a
free?
yeah. Well, it's over the air TV, so like yeah.
Oh,
I think they just it was completely free. It worked. It looked fantastic actually. So yeah, it was pretty good. I'm a Tubi guy. Is what I'm trying to say.
Boom. Mike Minotti, you also spent the weekend not just with Maniac Mansion, but also spending some time in Elden Ring Nightreign.
Yeah, they're doing the kind of like test thing for this game right now. This is not what I was expecting. So this is that Elden Ring kind of spin-off. And we all knew like, oh, it's a co-op thing. They want you to play with 3 players. You can't play by yourself. Jeff, you have a question already.
Yeah, can I just like say what I think it is, and then you tell me how wrong I am?
Sure.
Okay, so I think it's going to be a kind of like a boss rush sort of a roguelite where where you can kind of go in there single player, but they really want you to play with the trio.
Here's what really threw me off is how much
It's
Fortnite
turn-based.
is in this game. No, Fortnite.
Really?
It's
You
like,
can-
'cause,
Is
yeah,
John
Floss?
Cena in Elden Ring?
so it's co-op, right? But the 3 of you, and you always drop in the same place, but you're
Oh.
basically on a big island, and there's a circle, and it
Whoa,
closes
really?
in. And the whole thing is that you kind of run around and fight the bosses that you can and get the upgrades that you can before the circle closes in on a specific area, and then a big boss spawns there. And then you have to kill that to get to like a new circle spawns.
Is
You
it
kill
an
that one.
extraction shooter?
It's kind of like, but then when that circle spawns, then you fight like the boss for that map. And this beta had one map basically, so kind of one of these. And you also, instead of like the traditional, oh, you make a character and you customize it, you have classes. So there's like clearly the dexterity based one and the wizard one, and they also have special abilities and things like that. So it's not just like, oh, you're running around and here's like a new sword you can get. So you only want to pick it up if you want to use that weapon, because each weapon also has a passive ability. So
Yeah.
maybe you're not going to use that sword, but you have 6 slots, so you may as well pick it up because it's plus 10 damage to dragons or something like that. Then all the consumables too, like throwing knives or things that heal. But so like, yeah, it's like, it was shocking. It's really neat how you have to get revive your friends, because you have to attack them to do that. You don't just go over and like hold down the button and try to get them up, but it's still sort of that Fortnite thing, right?
Oh, that's how we
get
care
me
for
up.
each other.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
true.
If you like kind of die consecutively, like, oh, it's going to take more hits to get them up, that kind of thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, yeah, I was just really surprised. That was like, oh, okay, roguelike. It's going to be kind of maybe a bit less open, just sort of boss rushy, sure. No, you're running around. And it's definitely fun. It's kind of weird because sometimes you're like fighting a boss. It's like, well, here's the circle. I guess we just got to leave him and not worry about that anymore, I suppose. It's also strange because, it so clearly wants you to be doing the 3-player thing, kind of like Apex Legends.
Mhm.
And, when if you're playing people that's great. But getting matched up with people, it's like, well, I hope one of these guys knows what we're doing, because I've decided I'm following this person.
Can you play solo dolo exclusively?
So you can play solo, but I don't think the game's, maybe some people correct me, I don't think the game like rebalances for that.
Huh,
So
interesting.
it's just
Oh,
a lot
okay.
harder. And right now there's no duo option. I think people have complained that they're maybe looking into that. But yeah, it's like Apex Legends again, where they definitely designed it for 3 people, and that is how they want you to play. So I'm like, okay, I have 2 brothers. I bet I'll play this. I bet it's going to be fun. there's a part of me that's like how much of this am I really going to stomach's not the word, but what is the longevity of this? It's
Sure.
a very interesting twist on it. It's a very smart way of reusing a lot of bosses and bringing back some old ones. Like, you are literally running around and just encountering a boss from Elden Ring and fighting it now. There's some other differences, like you moving faster in general because you don't have the horse, right? They give you kind of the wall shimmy up thing from Sekiro to help with the platforming and stuff like that. So yeah, it was fun. It was interesting. It was pretty surprising with these Fortnite elements again. And I had a good time, but I'm a little skeptical of the sort of longevity of it.
Yeah, you can see why like they would make some of those decisions, like they want to keep things moving and keep people on their toes. But you're right, that is surprising.
When is this supposed to drop again?
I don't know if it does it even have a
Doesn't
date
it?
yet?
I thought it did.
Elden Ring Nightreign, May 30th. Okay, so yeah, it's coming out in May. So there you go.
Well, speaking about reusing assets and making a whole new game, Jeff Grubb, last game we got on the list, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
Yeah, I've been playing this on the Steam Deck as well, and it's I think it's really good. It's really solid. I am very into Yakuza now after Infinite Wealth. I played a little bit of 7 before that. Yes, 7. And I've tried some 0 in the past, but Infinite Wealth is the one that really got me. And there is Goro Majima in that, which is the guy with the eye patch. He's been a huge character in the series previously. I always, it was like when I was kind of looking over people's shoulder at them playing Yakuza, I'd always be like, that Goro Majima, there's a character. There's a guy that just has things going on.
Someone that is more well versed in the Yakuza cinematic universe, can someone just educate me? Is Goro Majima? I know that he's hella cool from the games that I've played, but is he just supposed to be Nicolas Cage's character from Wild at Heart because of the snakeskin jacket and just like the
100%.
vibe?
Wow.
Is he a Vegeta? Did he like used to be an enemy and then became a friend?
Oh, Mike. Everyone used to be an enemy Vegeta in Yakuza, and everyone ends up becoming your best friend.
What about Samoa Joe? Where's he at?
Well, I haven't got to that part yet, but I will assume I will eventually be best friends with Samoa Joe, despite Samoa Joe's obvious deficiencies as a person, which we all know about.
Coward, bad gamer.
Coward, yes.
I didn't say it, Joe. I did not say it.
I said it, Joe.
Yeah, I'll say it right to your face, Samoa Joe. Just like the Game Awards all over again. This is a game where I'm like, oh, this is hitting the spot right now. It is simple. You are Goro Majima. It's a RPG, so guess what? You have amnesia. He doesn't remember anything, and so he finds himself on an island, and he does the only logical thing, which is there's some pirates. I should take over that gang and be a pirate now. And
oh my God! Wait a second. This was the plot of that crystal coconut thing from Donkey Kong that you made us watch.
Yes,
you're right.
That's the same plot. Somebody had amnesia and thought they were a pirate.
It is like I said, pretty simple. Like it's an action beat 'em up kind of game.
Yeah.
I find that to be very fun. I love the turn-based combat in Infinite Wealth. This I think is probably more similar to previous Yakuza games, but like like I said, I played some 0. This is immediately more punchy, fast. Like you feel more capable immediately. It's trying to get into the good stuff faster because this is like a side story. The way it's really hitting though is Goro, Majima is just very, very kind as a character, and always is trying to find the like the most compassionate way to handle every situation. And it's just so nice to be playing a game like that right now. And there's a little kid that kind of is like, hey, I have really bad asthma. I've never left this island. Can you help me do that? And that's like your first goal. And then quickly you find like some of your old Yakuza buddies, and they are, they're like, oh my God, why can't you remember us? But we're going to take you to Madlantis on this this crazy island that has all this stuff. And you're like, okay. And it just keeps building and building. And I think it's just a really solid, let's take the stuff that we have from these Yakuza games. We just made all this Hawaii stuff. We let's like kind of focus on a couple of things. Let's give you sea combat, very similar to Assassin's Creed 4, and kind of just let you loose. And it nails all of that stuff. It's not doing anything spectacularly, but it nails all that stuff. Where if you are into these characters and into this world, I think it's kind of a can't miss game. I would really recommend it.
What about somebody like me who's played a little bit here and there, but not too much of any of them? You think this is one to sink my teeth in, or you think I should maybe play a Yakuza 0 first, or even an Infinite Wealth first over this?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably play Infinite Wealth first, or one of the other ones. Kind of start where you want to start. I think once you have your footing in the series, then going to one of these side stories probably makes sense at that point. But I would probably recommend this one over, like, because this one just seems like it doesn't really have any of the rough edges some of the other side stories have. It's just all around really solid.
Does this one have any old Sega arcade games too?
I think it does. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I feel like I saw those. I was like trying to run. I ran past them. I think.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. It definitely did. I just can't remember what it was. But yeah, I think it's surprisingly good. Where I was like, I bet I'm gonna get bored of this, and no, it just moves along. It does like kind of go at its own pace at the beginning, where you are gonna go from one story beat to the next, and then there's a lot of like fighting in between. But they take their time setting things up. But I thought that setup was all pretty good in terms of getting me on board with caring about the characters. And now I have my cool little crew of, there's the tough guy that, of course, he was on the other side, and I beat him up, and I beat him up so good that now he's my first mate. And you do that over and over again because it's a Yakuza game. So yeah, I think I highly recommend it to anyone that's in the series.
Fairly linear, Grubb?
Yeah. Yeah, so far, I've only just kind of gotten to Madlantis. I wonder if it opens up a little bit at that point. But I think that for a game like this, I think you want it to be a little bit more linear. Just kind of like, build the content, make that as good as possible, and shovel it over to me. And that's what it's been so far.
Fantastic. I think we should all go to Hawaii. We should just do a team building exercise.
Never been.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Really?
No, I really want to. I want to hang out with a dolphin.
Yeah, let's do that.
I swam with the dolphins in Jamaica, but I've never been to Hawaii with those dolphins. So,
oh my god,
Game of the year in Hawaii.
Yeah,
oh please,
let's do that. Oh god, I need to recharge on an island.
I won't even make us go to the Disney resort. I would appreciate if we did, but I won't make us.
Now, Mike, I know that Native Hawaiians feel some type of way about the Dole Plantation, but there is a pretty cool hedge maze at the Dole Plantation where they grow pineapples. Would you be okay going there?
Only if I can still be an ally to the Hawaiian people. If they don't want me to, I will not do it.
All right, well, no, thank you.
He just doesn't want to be around fruit. Come on, don't let him have this one.
Hey, the arcade game they added to this one is the Ocean Hunter, which is basically just House of the Dead, but with fish. It's awesome.
That's right.
So it's also thematically very appropriate. So that really
sounds
cool.
Incredible.
So
yeah.
During the dump truck this week, when we have the catch up with Bacalar, we should just tell him we've already decided we're going to Hawaii for.
Let's just book the flights, and it'll show up in the expense thing, and he'll have to click the button.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sounds. They have microphones out in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Good plan.
The giant bomb luau. Oh, it's great.
What's your favorite piece of media set in Hawaii?
Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
What's that?
Oh, it's a good movie.
Giant Bomb Game of the Year 2025.
That's a good one.
Media.
I mean, Lilo and Stitch is very good.
Lilo and Stitch is good.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall was a fun movie.
Oh,
that's a good movie. That's see that guy's dick.
Yeah, we saw his dick and his puppets, and those aren't the same thing.
No, they're not. You're right.
All right. Well,
I liked Pearl Harbor.
Get that soundbite.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna have
Tiger.
talk to our own HR department after that, and we'll be back with some news after this quick breaky break. breaking news, everyone. Let me play the music first. We've lost Dan. We can't find him. He might have fallen into a shoot hole, maybe fell into his toilet.
Maybe walked out the wrong door and fell down a story because that
Yeah.
door is a door to nowhere. Yeah.
One day we'll find Dan, and maybe Dan will find his way back to us.
I always preferred Chris anyhow.
Yeah, Chris was great. I hope Steve has some snacks prepared so Steve doesn't have to starve and everything. But hey, who knows? Anyway, Jeff Grubb, the news.
Yeah, I got some news here. Plenty to talk about. Let's get into it. GTA 6 news. Rockstar is reportedly planning Roblox/Fortnite style user-generated content. Rockstar has reportedly met with top Roblox and Fortnite creators to discuss building custom game experiences within GTA 6. They are planning to allow creators to modify GTA 6's environment and assets to incorporate their own IP. This move follows Rockstar's acquisition of CFX.re, the group behind popular modding tools for GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. GTA 5 role-playing has seen a surge in popularity as well, blah, blah, blah. This is wouldn't be too shocking. You can kind of do this already in GTA 5 to a certain degree. There are a lot of like custom games that people build, and you share the code and you go in there and play it. But of course, I think they want to amplify that because they want this game to last for 20 years. You know, the last one lasted for more than 10. They want this one to last probably for 20. And a big way to fuel that is, well, what are other games that have lasted for 20 years? Roblox came out in 2006. Wow. I think they're like, well, we could do that. And of course they could. This also just like, supercharges your earnings, your revenue, because you got a lot of content that people can sell in your game. You give them a cut, but then you take a cut of it as well, and they're making content for you. So I think this is kind of inevitable. Is it something that you guys think is what you want from a GTA Online 2 or whatever?
I don't know. I don't know what I personally want from GTA Online, to be honest.
Yeah. It almost can't be for me in some ways. Like that's just not really what I'm looking for. Probably in one of these, I think it makes a ton of sense, right? Like what helped GTA 5 be such a big success, a bigger success than its predecessors, which were already huge. They found a way to grow by doing the whole online social thing, right? So that was a big deal. Well, as we know, it's not enough to just make another one of the last thing that was very popular. You got to find another way to have this kind of exponential growth. So yeah, going deeper into the whole UGC thing, it just is kind of the next logical step in a lot of ways, right?
I mean, I think if any game could do this, they would, because they look at how the earnings potential of stuff like Roblox. So like, hey, if we could do that, we absolutely would. But most games can't pull this off. Grand Theft Auto obviously is one of these games that can do this. They have the platform to support this sort of business model. So yeah, them going this way doesn't surprise me too much. And really to put things in perspective, those Roblox games, like some of the most popular ones, they have McDonald's Happy Meal deals, like where I will go I'll take my kids to get Happy Meals, and I'll be like, what is this toy? And I'm like, wait a second. And it took me looking at it, like, it doesn't say Roblox anywhere on there. The deal is with the people who made the game inside of Roblox. It's crazy.
Right.
But like, that's how big it is. Kids are obsessed. There's hundreds of millions of players. That is where like the next big thing in gaming can happen. It's within these UGC platforms. So I think being if you can do it, you want to do it, because that way when someone makes the next Dota or whatever, maybe it happens inside of Grand Theft Auto and they can just glom themselves onto that and take a lot of the earnings. Kind of sounds perverse and not great when you really lay it out like that, but that's what they're doing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say, somebody's going to make a Pokemon but with the street workers, aren't they?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Someone's gonna take away all of the medicine and required medication from people that need it and just stick them on a farm.
Yeah,
RFK
Junior
UGC.
Simulator.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the thing. It's like I almost want it all to like still be in theme with GTA, but it's not gonna be that, right? And I guess it kind of has to not be that. You're gonna have to be able to do almost anything to it. It's like what Fortnite has become, Roblox. It's going to be a platform upon itself. And GTA Online already kind of was that. This is really going to be that.
I initially took issue, Grubb, when you were talking about how they're going to rely on UGC, but I didn't factor in that they could those users could potentially earn some type of revenue.
Oh yeah.
So that's okay, I
Yeah,
guess.
like you want the split to be better than it is for Roblox, obviously.
Sure.
But I mean, this does feel like we're here. Like the promise of modding and improving games was always like if we could capture the value here, this would be great. Well, they've done that now, and Minecraft. I don't know if people like look into like how Minecraft works these days. That Minecraft marketplace is just constantly refreshed with new stuff from their community creators. It's a store. Those people get a cut. It is their full-time job to make that stuff. Yeah, it's going to be the same way for Grand Theft Auto, without a doubt.
Like Prop Hunt is across so many different games and modes now. That originally started out as like a Gary's Mod type of thing.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get a lot of that.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Someone is gonna make the next viral sensation out of the next GTA Online.
I think if fans hear this though and they feel a little anxiety, like I don't blame them, because this is a different thing than the Grand Theft Auto made by Rockstar that they fell in love with, right? So it is a siren song that a company like Rockstar and Take-Two can't ignore. They are clearly investing in it by the acquisitions that they're making at CFX.re and the role-playing server people that they purchased. They are going all in on UGC. So, like, if you're looking around, like, oh, okay, well, are they going to leave me behind? There's a chance. Yeah, absolutely. There's a chance they're going to leave behind the traditional player that wants a Grand Theft Auto. In a lot of ways, they already have, based on supporting GTA Online over making like expansions for GTA 5, something they did with all the previous Grand Theft Auto games, or even just making other games, right? They used to release a game every year. They haven't done that since Grand Theft Auto 5. They've released like one game since then. So yeah, like if you are anxious about that, this is part of that process. But then there are still developers out there. We were just talking about Yakuza. Those people just like making those games and not like following a lot of these trends. They just want to keep making the games they're making. So that stuff will happen. But maybe Rockstar and Grand Theft Auto will be permanently different.
Why does a game like Dreams that is all UGC? How come that doesn't take off versus like a Roblox?
You just need that lightning rod, right? You need that that central gravitational pull to something, and then you build around that. Roblox, I guess, was like maybe its thing was it was completely free and easy to use,
and it was so kid focused. Was kind of the thing there, right? It was free and easily accessible to kids.
Yeah, but doing it with Minecraft, obviously Minecraft is Minecraft, so of course that was going to work. And Fortnite, same thing.
Dreams was also never on PC.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that was stuck on PS4.
Huge detriment there. Yep, without a doubt. All right, let's get into some Nintendo news. Nintendo Switch game vouchers. Actually, let's start this off by talking about what do you guys think Nintendo Switch 2 games are going to cost? Do you think they're going to go up to $70 kind of across the board for Nintendo published games?
They have some variable pricing even on the Switch 1, so there'll be some of that. But yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more $70 games. Like Mario Kart will cost $70.
Well, they're going to have other ways to make more money, kind of stealth price increases here. That is what these next two stories are about. Nintendo Switch game vouchers, the offer that gets you like 2 games for $100, so you could buy 2 $60 games. Using these vouchers, and you save $20. Or like, let's say you got Tears of the Kingdom with that, you would save the $20 just on that game, and then $10 on another game, so a total of $30 worth of savings. Well, this offer is not going to work with Switch 2 games. Nintendo has clarified that its Switch game vouchers program will not apply to games released for the upcoming Switch 2 console. The game vouchers program allows players to purchase 2 vouchers, blah, blah, blah. There's a chance they have a voucher program for Switch 2 specifically. There's also a chance they are just phasing this out and aren't going to do this anymore. So people who always took advantage of this won't be able to do so. On the other side of things, once you do make a purchase, you used to get something, at least on the eShop. And really, I think maybe actually you got this if you purchase physical games and like when you registered it with your console, but I can't remember. Nintendo's ending its My Nintendo Gold Points Switch eShop reward scheme. So you buy something on the eShop. When you do, you get like a 10% of that in like worth of gold coins. And those gold coins are currency that you could just use on the eShop to purchase games. So like 480 gold coins was $4.80. So you would get that discounted off your next game. I really like this because it was like, well, you can't trade in your digital games, but you get this little bonus on the end, so I can use that to kind of buy my next game. So it's like I'm almost getting a little bit of a trade-in value with some of these games as I'm playing them. They're getting rid of that as well. They're phasing it out. So this is another way that people had saved money buying digital games, and they are getting rid of that. Another kind of stealth price increase.
Man, I
Yeah.
didn't realize here. I just like seeing this headline. I logged in and I didn't realize every month I've had tons and tons of these platinum and gold coins expiring, like just tons of them. And so, like, are the gold ones gonna just like if I have 35.75 in my thing now, are they gonna be gone?
You're gonna
at a
have
certain
12 months. They said once it's done.
That's right.
To redeem them. So you're gonna have some time to redeem them, but then eventually they're gonna go to waste. So, use it or lose it with
point?
those.
Oh, wow.
Man, that the voucher thing is a little bit of a whatever. I'm not shocked by that.
Yes.
New console, like I said, these games might cost a little bit more. There might be a new thing. There might not. The gold, that sucks. I mean, that was just this nice little kickback, this nice little bonus. And that's just, often what I would use to, like, get DLC for something or this little indie game, or maybe something was on sale, right? It just felt like this nice thing. It's just bizarre when companies do this when they're doing really well, right? Like Nintendo made a ton of money off the Switch. They're about to make a lot of money off the Switch too. It kind of reminds me of like circa 2019 when Disney was, making $1 zillion off of Marvel and Star Wars. And then they're like, hey, you know how parking was free at Disney hotels? We're going to start charging you for that, right? Just like all this really weird penny pitching kind of stuff.
You're right. Thank you for that reference that we all have gone through.
This is exactly
We
what
were
I
all
thought
thinking
of.
it.
Yeah, exactly. So set the pace in the world, no, but it rubs me the wrong way. What a random thing to get rid of now. And it's hard to not just see it as, well, they know that some people are going to come back and start making all these purchases, whether this program exists or not. So why not get rid of it?
I mean, it really is just like a really quiet way to effectively raise the average sales price for everything that they sell without having to do the big splashy, we are raising the prices across the board, or you're just getting rid of a deal. That's what that looks like. But because by doing this, people have to spend on average, about $3 to $5 more, I bet.
Cool.
And all that adds up. I think part of this, the motivation here, I think, is what Mike mostly nailed, is that this is a company just trying to make even more money. That made a lot of money and they got to keep growing, so they're doing that. But also, I think, they don't know what they're going to be able to set the hardware at in relation to tariffs. So saving or making more money on the software will be very beneficial to them, I think, in the long run. So they're trying to save money where they can, and that has led them to make these decisions. All right, next one. Star Fox Artist says he wants GameCube title Star Fox Assault to be playable on Switch 2. This is Takeya Imamura, the original artist behind Star Fox, and he has publicly expressed his hope that Star Fox Assault and Steel Diver Sub Wars, which some of us really treasure, will be ported to the Nintendo Switch 2. He made this request on the 20th anniversary of Star Fox Assault and the 9th anniversary of Steel Diver Sub Wars. He's worked on a bunch of games. To me, like, there was those rumors back when the Switch Pro was happening that one of the GameCube could get added to NSO. This doesn't read to me as him teasing anything. I think this reads to me as him like genuinely being like, that would be awesome, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful, but I don't
That's
know.
what I read it as. I wish they would. I think Star Fox Assault is really underrated. I think it's got a problem that just not a lot of people seem to care about. When I bring this game up, most people think I mean Star Fox Adventures.
Yeah.
And then when I say, no, I mean the other one. And then they go, I'm like, the other one for the GameCube. They're like, what other one for the GameCube?
Yeah,
That's
I
what
get
I'm
that.
thinking right now.
The one where it looked like they were going back to the ship combat, and then it was like, it still wasn't really that, and it wasn't really great.
It was it is, yeah. It's like it's a lot of on-foot third-person shooter stuff, and it's right before we figured out third-person shooter stuff better with Resident Evil 4, or like maybe it was after that, but that didn't become the standard. So it's a little weird, but I think it's fun in a lot of ways, and it has a good Star Fox flavor to it. Crystal's in it, so Sean likes that.
That's why he's popping off.
Right. But yeah, if there's not like GameCube NSO, I can't imagine this being a game that gets a really big boy remaster.
That's what I brought that up, because this does not feel like a game that, like you said, gets a big boy remaster or even any remaster. This feels like if there is no GameCube NSO, this doesn't happen. Like, that's kind of where I would be with this. Something like this.
Maybe they'll be like, oh, let's like do Star Fox Adventures and Assault as a 2-for-1. But that's maybe a little complicated because that was a Rare game originally. They have all the rights to it, though, I guess. I don't know. But again, like, I think both those games are neat and interesting in weird ways. I don't know how much faith they have that a larger audience is going to care about them now.
This looks cool. I'd play this.
Yeah, it's weird. It was Namco who made it, and it was a little bit later on the GameCube, right? So, and I think so many people just Adventures was so wild because that was the one that was, like a Zelda game, and it was originally Dinosaur Planet. It was going to come out on the N64. So everyone remembers that one. But yeah, then Assault just happened later, and it's weird in a bit more of a normal way, so it doesn't stick in people's minds as much. But it's not bad. I was surprised when I played it.
Yeah, it played a little bit like Custom Robo. It was weird.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say it looked like that.
Yeah, but it's better than people give it credit for. Actually, usually. You know what game I just played? I don't know why this came to mind. That Turok game for Game Boy Advance is just a Contra game. I never knew that.
Oh, really? That sounds amazing, actually.
Yeah, we should do like this is the run for that game or something.
Oh
like
my
that.
God,
That could be cool.
Do you want a little kind of breaking weird news thing here that everyone
I
in chat
do.
popped
Hit
off
me with
about? Hollow Knight Silksong listing is gone from the US eShop. Wario64
Game ain't real.
post. Yeah. Let's see. Is the Xbox Live listing for it still there? Yes, that is. So it's still on Xbox. This might be them. This could be nothing. Maybe they're getting ready for a Switch 2
You're right.
listing
It's
for
nothing.
it instead.
Like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I played this game, damn it. I'm telling you. But yeah, I don't know. Hey, it's something happening with Silksong anyways.
I think we're at like 2,075 days since Mike Minotti played Silksong.
I think we did time it out. It's wild.
Yep, there it is. All right, hey, we'll see. You're right. That could probably just be nothing. But maybe they'll re-announce it and they'll just be Switch 2. That would be weird, though. Why wouldn't that game be able to run on Switch?
I mean, maybe it will, but maybe primarily. I mean, I do think one of the best chances we have for this is maybe as a Switch 2 launch game, and maybe that's a little bit of what the holdup is.
Yep, I think that's definitely possible. All right, let's keep moving here. 2 big Final Fantasy remakes are reportedly still in active development. Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy Tactics remakes. We've been hearing about those forever. Both were in the NVIDIA leak. At least one of them was in the NVIDIA leak. Both were. And everything else in that NVIDIA leak was real. Even Titanfall 3, which was actually the code name for Apex Legends for a while. So when Titanfall 3 was in there,
Even Kingdom Hearts 4 was in there before it was announced. And I was like, they're not making a Kingdom Hearts 4 already. They sure were.
Yep, exactly. So there's definitely a lot of smoke there to assume that these things were real, but it's been a long time, and Square Enix has gone through a lot. So maybe these things fizzled out, never really happened. They canceled them or something like that. Doesn't seem to be the case. Apparently, they are still in the works, according to recent reports. I think that Final Fantasy IX remake and Final Fantasy Tactics remakes will both do very well. They're not going to be like Final Fantasy VII. But they could be like, I always say this, maybe they'll be more like Persona. Is that the one you pointed to, Mike, is like the likely thing for like a Final Fantasy IX remake?
Yeah, it'll be more like that Persona 3 remake.
Yeah.
Is the scope I'm expecting, where it'll be largely the same, but definitely some rougher edges, smoothed out, some kind of gameplay improvements, modern, new voice cast, right? Things like that, presentation upgraded. That's what this one needs. You don't need to, turn it into a 3-parter giant thing like you did with 7. I love Final Fantasy 9. It's one of my favorite games. I've been so hopeful for this since that NVIDIA leak, and I did kind of get myself a little prepared for this just not to happen because we haven't heard it announced since then. But yeah, so this is very good news for me. Same thing with Tactics. I've never actually played through all of Tactics, and again, I've kind of been waiting hopefully for another remake instead of just diving into either the PS1 version or that PSP War of the Lions version. So I would love for a new definitive way to play that game on modern consoles for sure.
God, it's probably been twice as long since the release of that PSP game as it was from the PS1 to the PSP.
War of the Lions was probably like 2007 or something.
Yeah.
That's
War
wild.
of the Lions. All right.
Yeah.
Give me the actual Final Fantasy Tactics game we all want. Give me Advance.
Yeah.
Of course. Yes.
Give me a snowball fight.
See,
Give
that's
me
right.
the
The
judges.
best Final Fantasy game is Final
This
Fantasy
is why
Tactics
this is the best
Advance.
video game podcast, because we all say the right things.
Yes.
Do you guys want like an advanced remake, or you just want that on NSO? Is that good
I just
enough
want to
for you?
play Advance again.
NSO would be fine.
Either or.
What am I talking about? I have an analog pocket. Why wouldn't I just play it on?
And by the
I
way,
can do that.
War of the Lions was 2007. I was right.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Very
I'm
impressive.
really smart.
Who gives a shit about that nerd shit? A skater claims he's in a new Tony Hawk remaster about to come out. That's what matters to me. We've had rumors like this before where someone like mentioned like, I'm in the next Tony Hawk. I think even Tony Hawk said something like along those lines, like something more is going to happen. Professional skateboarder Tyshawn Jones has claimed that he will appear in an upcoming unannounced Tony Hawk game remaster. Jones, who appeared in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2, stated this on the Breakfast Club podcast, which is I only ever see in YouTube shorts. Tony Hawk himself has hinted at a new game in an Instagram post. Hawk teased the series had a future. And in a YouTube interview, he said he was talking to Activision, but working on something. I'm like at a point with Tony Hawk where I am afraid to get my hopes up because I want this so bad.
I would take this over FF7 remake caliber ones of every Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, I know you
exactly.
would. That's great.
Yes.
A guy who doesn't like Final Fantasy but likes Tony
like
Hawk
some.
wants a Tony Hawk one
I know,
more.
but I get no, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 are actually better than any Final Fantasy game.
Okay,
They
Oh,
actually
now,
without
now
a
hold the hell.
doubt. Yes.
Why did this suddenly have to
Hey,
be like
majority
this?
rules,
Defended it.
right,
I
Jim?
don't know. You're right. It's not your fault. It's Dan's fault.
Why did it have to be like this?
Majority rules. Sorry, Mike.
Also,
we don't make the rules. We don't make the
Also,
rules. Tony Hawk's better than Final
Yeah,
Fantasy.
4 is
You
great.
take Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Okay, it's great. You're gonna take Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 alone over the entire Final Fantasy franchise.
I'll take
You
Proving
can't
Ground over the
role-play
entire
in
Final
Final
Fantasy
Fantasy
franchise.
8.
God.
Oh, I can't do this, guys. I don't want to pick my favorite.
What?
title.
It didn't have to be one or the other. You two just made it like the JRPGs really offend you that much.
Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam is better than any Final Fantasy.
Oh, shut
All
up.
right, okay. I can't.
Tony
do
Hawk
this.
Ride. is
Jesus,
better.
Dan.
I can't do this.
I thought we were being serious here.
We were before, yes.
I really
yeah.
hope they do this. I definitely want to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 again. Super bad. Actually, just bought Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 on the PS2 again yesterday because I do want to play that again. It has been a while. It's always so funny when actors accidentally let these things out, right? Because they're just like don't know about how secret the game industry is. Like, take that with a professional skateboarder and it's like times 10. So I can totally see that.
Yeah.
Like, of course, this is how we hear about this.
Yeah, it's like,
I,
oh, cool. I got scanned in a video game. What?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't know if this is coming out. I hope it's soon. It's been quite a bit of time from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2, but it definitely seemed like Activision was not super interested in immediately following up. So it doesn't feel like they got a right to work. Also, the team that made Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 is gone. They have been subsumed into Blizzard, and they made a World of Warcraft bullshit. So
they're doing all the Diablo stuff.
Diablo stuff, right? Exactly. So who even knows who's making this? Again, if it's real. But boy, that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 is kind of a perfect game, and just give us more.
Yeah.
If
Let's
they
talk
did
about
that with
Final
Tony Hawk
Fantasy.
3, which is a perfect game, that would be amazing.
Yeah, Final Fantasy is great. Did you see the new Magic the Gathering decks they announced?
Okay.
Those look
Yeah.
fantastic. Those look so good.
I resisted them releasing a Doctor Who pack, and I'm like, all right, I fought off the Magic the Gathering infection that is taking over the games industry.
Frenzy.
The frenzy, yes. And then I see this fucking Final Fantasy shit, and I'm like, oh, it was just Cloud, whatever. But then I saw my boy Titus.
Titus. Oh, you're a Titus guy. You're not a Titus guy.
I used to say Titus, but then people will just get on my case about saying Titus, so I say Titus. So I just want to Scout. I know you're worked up as well. All right, okay.
Yeah,
I know we all want to
stay
see
true
an
to
Orin
Titus.
card.
Big natural Titus.
Grubb's a big Titus guy now.
That's
I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Oh, the game company who makes all his Flight Club games that we make him play.
Yeah. What other? So they made Superman 64,
They did
right?
Superman and RoboCop, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
They're like our mascot now.
First
Yeah. So we've
ballot
each
Hall
had
of
a
Famer.
Titus.
Yes.
Yeah. I got a Titanus. Never mind. I was gonna say tetanus shot, but with Titus in there.
That's good.
Yeah, it's something.
Would
Yeah.
you guys be disappointed they just skipped to Thug? Because I bet Thug would do really well, and
Thug
I
would do
like
well.
Thug.
I'd be
but I'd
fine
be
with that.
disappointed I'd be disappointed they skipped 3 and 4. I would still enjoy a Thug remake, but give me, especially 3. Give me 3.
is
Oh, let me
important.
punch
Yeah.
Eric Sparrow in the fucking face again.
Yep.
That would heal this country.
Oh,
The
oh,
lesser
shit.
Birdman.
The Final Fantasy decks are up on Amazon. I gotta buy them now. They've been selling out everywhere. No one else buy them. This is just for me.
Go outside, nerd. I don't have time for your worthless chime-ins. All right. Company of Heroes Relic reveals
$70. Ooh, well. Hey, jacked off in a rainforest cafe.
Oh my gosh.
Company Heroes Relic is making an Advance Wars style game. It looks pretty cool. It's called Earth vs. Mars. It comes out later this year. I like Advance Wars.
I wonder if I'll play it for 2 hours like I did the Switch remaster and then think, oh, I could just be playing Shoot Advance Wars. And go back and do that.
Yeah. I think that's a big problem with this genre, right? Is that people are so faithful that a lot of times it's like the original is just better to go play. And that's been the way for a long time. I remember a early mobile phone game was just Advance Wars, but with kind of shitty math where it's like, oh, this isn't as satisfying because the attacks don't feel as good. I'm like, you got to have that good math in there. I think Relic can probably nail this genre, but can they do anything that feels new and kind of push it forward? We'll see. I hope so.
I got my Final Fantasy decks.
Sony's PS5 live service title Fair Games has reportedly slipped. According to Giant Bomb journalist Jeff Grubb, Sony and Haven Studios' upcoming PS5 live service game Fair Games has been internally delayed to 2026. It's a game that they were maybe thinking about releasing this year. It's been pushed. So, Fair Games from Jade Raymond's studio. Was it Haven? Is that the name of their studio?
Formerly of Oculus Games, right?
I think
Stadia.
No, Stadia game. Yeah, the Stadia studio or whatever.
Yep. All those great Stadia first party games, and then before that, very long time at Ubisoft. Right. Although I don't think she's actually shipped a game since Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I think that's right. I think that's what people always bring up.
She was managing director on Assassin's Creed Unity and Far Cry 4.
She brought Splinter Cell Conviction to the Game Informer office. Was she involved with that in some way? Because I remember I sat in on a meeting with her for that game.
I mean, I don't see. Yeah, it's not listed on her Wikipedia, but she would have been in Ubisoft here. Apparently, she's got a credit for Star Wars Battlefront 2. She's the SVP Group General Manager. Okay. It's been a long time since she was this person heavily associated with Assassin's Creed. It's kind of it's like that position that I'm blanking on the Uncharted woman's name, right? But
Amy
Hennig, right? Very notable in the 2000s, and then it's something happens. It's just hard for these people to ship games through a series of seemingly unfortunate events.
Either way, Fair Games not coming anytime soon. Really, one of the reasons we didn't see it in that state of play, obviously, because it's just not ready if it's not coming out till next year. Yeah,
I'm going to say this, and I think we've all said this. I think putting a $sign in your company's logo, it's not cool. It's
not a good idea. Unless you're WarioWare Mega Micro Game.
Yes, that is great.
Sure.
Oh, sure.
Right.
And
ownership
and a colon and an exclamation point. WarioWare killed it.
I'm going to say, Dan, no one else was brave enough on your Firescape thing. That should have beaten Tetris.
WarioWare?
Yes.
Oh, I mean, personally, I would say.
Here's the problem with your methodology. You guys just Tetris counts as a whole franchise. Everything else is one game. Tetris, for some reason, gets this free pass as
Tetris is a
the
concept.
idea of Tetris.
Tetris is a concept.
Tetris is a feeling, baby.
Yeah. I'm still reeling over Mary saying that Diablo 2 is more influential than Mario 64.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
I called her out on that last night when we recorded.
To be clear, I was about to be well, Diablo 2 is pretty influential, Dan. What did it go against? They said
Mario 64.
And I was like, oh, well.
Shut myself out? Yeah.
It's more influential than a literal miracle. Something that should not exist. Yeah. All right, Fair Games, whatever. We'll see. They'll talk about it. Maybe they won't. Maybe that's a game that never comes out, but it probly does. It doesn't seem like they're canceling this particular live service game, even as they get scared off of a lot of other live service games. PlayStation says it's planning to release more family games like Astrobot. Astrobot popped off, obviously, because it won the Game of the Year award. They've had a lot of support for it. It's doing well sales-wise relative to other games of its ilk. I think Sony sees a chance here to slowly build up an audience that comes to PlayStation for family games, something that Nintendo has just dominated for decades at this point. So you think they could pull it off, or is this something that without a Japan studio, they might have a more difficult time doing something like this?
Oof. They sure could use the help from that, right?
If they trust the Astrobot team, sure. If they try and make some live service joints, I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely need to though, right? Like it always, I think it was always such a mistake the way that Xbox and Sony largely conceded the family games market to Nintendo and to these kind of big PC games like Roblox, like Minecraft. That stuff is on their console, sure, but it's so different from PS1, PS2, where a lot of these family friendly franchises were very heavily supported and promoted by PlayStation, like your Crash Bandicoots and your Spyros and Ratchet and Clanks and Sly Cooper. Is that his name? Why did that
Sly
sound wrong?
Cooper,
Sly Cooper's his
It's
name.
like
Yeah.
Cooper's
It's
got
government
his
name.
on his name.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like Cooper's not right. Sony has done some things. They still have Ratchet and Clank going. We had that Sackboy game, but Astrobot really seems like it hit and woke them up a bit. And I think even beyond that, just all those franchises being in there, like we saw how Ape Escape is still really fun just as a concept, even in there. I hope that they look at kind of what Capcom's doing and what Sega's doing, bringing some old franchises back, and they do more of that. And yeah, like there's no reason why Ape Escape couldn't still work really well now. Or like how Astrobot's a newer thing. Let's maybe get some more new things going. That could be nice too.
I was going to ask, do y'all think they would kind of go into some of these family games through the lens of an Astrobot of like, hey, you saw Ape Escape there. This is Ape Escape Bot with Astro.
Well, I don't know. Man, Ape Escape's also going to be in Metal Gear Solid Delta too. So it's just Ape Escape's everywhere, but in a new game now. I think I'd rather just make it Ape Escape. I don't think I need the bot trappings all the time now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be ideal. Just kind of use that as a jumping platform to go back to the shoot thing. I think that'd be great. Anyway, PlayStation is going to do more family games. Sure, that is one of their responses to a slight response to, hey, the live service stuff isn't working very well. We should try something different. Ubisoft says that's for pussies. They're like, we're just going to keep making live service games and open world games year after year, and that's the direct quote from Yves Guillemot. The whole thing I said is from Yves. The company's future strategy is focusing on open world action adventure games and live service games.
Wow, that's just incredible. That's like as the Titanic's going down, saying that their strategy is to just find more icebergs. Like, what the hell are you talking
Let's
about?
keep going into it.
Yeah.
like we're just gonna keep doing the same thing.
I mean, it really just says like, oh, they really don't have anything else. If Assassin's Creed Shadows doesn't work,
Right.
oh boy, they're in deep doo-doo.
How are your guys' quartz wallets?
The uniqueness of my digit has never been more unique, Dan.
Oh God. It's just absolutely bonkers. Like the one live service game they ever really had was Rainbow Six Siege, which is 10 years old now. So they're kind of trying to, soft reboot it with Rainbow Six
soft
Siege
rebooting that,
X.
yes.
We'll see how, I bet that'll help a little bit.
I
It's not
bet
gonna-
it gets a
blew up.
backlash first before anything else.
Maybe it
Sure.
hurts it actively. That could very easily happen. But in the meantime, what live service game, right? What could they possibly have?
Hyperscape.
Oh my God. They tried Hyperscape. They tried
game in the world.
Skull and Bones was was so pathetic. Nobody even wanted to talk about that. Everybody talked about Suicide Squad and Concord failing because it was kind of interesting. Skull and Bones, people kind of forgot that even happened.
Well,
last
Lucy
year.
hasn't. Lucy still needs to play it.
Yeah,
That's
Skull and
right.
Bones.
That's right. God, X Defiant. I mean, what are we talking about here? I don't know. It almost seems pathetic, and it's just kind of like, well, maybe if we say this is the plan, people will still believe that and like that buzzword long enough for us to get bought by Tencent or something. I don't know.
Maybe we'll get an open world Just Dance game.
Okay, well, that could be something. Yeah, I think this just really says that even if they do have other ideas, they think those ideas are so far away that they really just can't even bring them up right now. And they have to commit to the games they have coming out in the next couple of years, which are probably all live service and open world action games. So what choice do they have other than to double down on believing in that? It's wild though, because it clearly is just going to kind of keep going in the same direction where even if you do have a big hit, let's say Assassin's Creed Shadows is the biggest Assassin's Creed game ever, that really feels like it's only buying borrowed time at a certain point. And when the next time there's a slight slip on Assassin's Creed or if the next Far Cry doesn't work, they're just going to be right back here, and people are going to be really short with Ubisoft games going forward. So they have to try something else. They just have to. All right. I had no choice, says Shuhei Yoshida, after talking about his role of moving over to indie games, because he said otherwise I would have been pushed out of the company. This comes from GamesBeat. Mike, what were the full details on the story? This is an interview that Dean did with Shuhei Yoshida, right? And kind of got him to admit kind of what we all assumed, that there was some, maybe not shenanigans, but definitely corporate politicking that led to Shuhei Yoshida stepping down from being president of Worldwide Studios to taking over the indie role.
Yeah, this was actually a story Dean published over the weekend. He talked to Shuhei, I believe, at the DICE Awards. I haven't actually talked to Dean since, because we started work today. Basically, I've been spending time here with you all. But yeah, the context I kind of got from him was like, it was kind of implied, hey, yeah, you kind of work over on the indie side now, or see ya. At least that was the feeling he was getting from it, right? So yeah, it didn't necessarily seem like a jump he wanted to make, but was sort of forced into making.
Are you seeing the breaking news in the chat?
Yeah, I'm trying to make sense of it.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll wrap up the Shuhei thing. That was weird. It's weird that's the way it worked. Like he basically said, Jim Ryan was going to force me out of the company. So people who don't like Jim Ryan have plenty more to go on, but Jim Ryan's not there anymore. So what are you going to do with that? But Shuhei was always a very cool guy, and I'm glad he stuck around. It seems like he really did improve PlayStation's relationships between themselves and indies, which was at a bit of a low point before he took over that role. There was a lot of complaints from indies about how that whole thing didn't work. All right. This is Wario64 sharing a Reset Era thread. The Reset Era thread says Marvel Rivals director shares that he and his team were all just laid off.
What?
All right, I'm going to read this whole thing from Thaddeus Sasser on what looks like LinkedIn. And his like little title is I help create billion-dollar franchises, which they did. He says, this is such a weird industry. My stellar, talented team just helped deliver an incredibly successful new franchise in Marvel Rivals for NetEase Games, and we're just laid off. Oh, well, times are tough all over. Let's find these incredible people new jobs, because we all need to eat, right? So then he goes on to point out some people that like worked with them. Today, I'm going to start with the inspiring Gary McGee, for example.
Is this is this the main development team, or is this like one of the support teams that was working on it?
I honestly don't know. This is breaking right now. Jack Burrows, also from LinkedIn, was a level designer on Marvel Rivals, and like his company he worked for is NetEase.
I saw Jack Burrows either earlier today or yesterday. That one I saw before. I remember.
Just got laid off from my job working on Marvel Rivals with NetEase. It was an enormous pleasure to work with my American coworkers who joined me in this sad culling.
American coworkers?
Yeah, just couldn't dodge the big boot, I guess, no matter how big the success of the gig. So, I mean, maybe it's not the whole main team. Is probably what I'd have to assume, because that game is making like $1 billion.
Yeah. What the hell?
Yeah, it's got to be like, there's probably a lot of teams involved with that, and maybe it's one like a shitty case where they're like, oh, well, you guys helped get this game off the ground. Now we don't need you as much anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to parse this.
Thaddeus Sasser, is he the shoot director of that game?
Right, because that's the misleading thing from the kind of the skeet here. Marvel Rivals director and team laid off, according to posts, is what
Dan, we met. Was that supposed to be the director that we met outside we hung out with at the hotel, right?
That isn't the same guy that we met.
This guy, no.
So
this must be a separate team.
Yeah, I mean, I just Googled like Thaddeus Sasser director, and he's done interviews as the director of Marvel Rivals, working at NetEase recently.
According to Jesse Norris, from what I can see, they were the level design team. So maybe they are just a specific team.
Yeah, he's a game designer. Yeah, but okay. It wasn't like an external team, though. It was a NetEase team. All right. Very, very, very strange. Kind of inexplicable. I think, this industry being very weird is a very good way of putting it.
Tell you what, if even Marvel Rivals isn't gonna make it, then the whole live service thing, geez.
We're done.
Yep, that feels very like we're cooked, aren't we?
I skeeted about this, but I was scrolling through TikTok, and then I got one of those game ads that I don't know if is real or not, and it had a very excited person that might have been pretending to be a streamer. They could have been. And he was just saying, oh my God, the red gooner's in the base. We got to get rid of the gooner. All right, we just gave him a back shot. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening?
They know what they're doing there.
They know what they're doing. I just don't like any of it.
Of course not. All right, final story. A happy trails and rest in peace to Victor Antonov, who was the influential designer and artist on Dishonored and Half-Life 2. Gets credited with a lot of the visual language of Half-Life 2 and Dishonored. A lot of people came out of the woodworks to be like, it was awesome to work with Victor. Really respected him, and this is a really sad thing. He was in his 50s. I don't have this exact age here, but he was not some super old timer. This is just like, oh man, you can go at any time and you can have made Half-Life 2, and that game doesn't feel like it's all that long ago, and you can still pass away. So yeah, shout outs to Victor Antonov. Rest in peace. Sad story, but
Yeah,
incredible body of work.
Half-Life 2 is still one of my favorite games, and that I was talking before with Avowed how important it is for your game to just look distinct, and just the way City 17 looks at that game, right? It's like I can look at any single square inch of that, just immediately identify it as Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
That just incredible combination of that, sort of Eastern European brutalism with these like unsettling 1984 sci-fi touches as well. It is so haunting. It is such an incredible atmosphere. It's a big part of what made Half-Life 2 so memorable. Of course, the gravity gun gets a lot of the credit, as it should, but the art in that game is just amazing.
That does it for the news. Jan, I'm handing the show back over to you.
Folks, we put out a call for emails last week, and we got emails, and we're going to read them right after this Bricky Break.
Breaky break.
Emails. Bombcast at giantbomb.com is the email address to send your emails to. And hey, I got beef, boys. What the fuck, Google? What the fuck? Why did you suddenly decide if I am going to identify 3 things that are obviously spam, why are you going to throw the hard work of our audience, our community members into the fucking spam folder with all the actual other garbage.
Okay,
Is that what happened?
Yes.
Okay. You guys didn't look in the spam folder.
I don't have access. So the way it works is it gets forwarded to my inbox. So it only gets forwarded to my inbox if it gets in that inbox. So I don't have access to the Bombcast spam folder.
I thought I didn't need to look in there. Why did they do that?
I'm just gonna say, like, because when last week you guys were like, oh, we got no emails, like, that's weird. I wonder if they're in the spam folder. That was my first. It's like, I'm not judging, Jen. I'm not saying
Well,
that.
you
like
sure
you're
were
judging.
quiet. You didn't say anything. I mean, you want the credit now for helping, but you didn't help, Mike.
I didn't help. I had my chance to help and I didn't.
Yeah, this is your fault.
This is actually my fault when you really think about it.
Yes. So Google, we got beef. I'm gonna check in the spam folder. So apologies if we missed your email last week and you were upset. I'm upset with you, dog. But anyway, we've had this email on this document for about 3 or 4 weeks now. Hi, Giant Bombcast team. I'm writing on behalf of my husband, David B., who's been a loyal listener of your podcast for years from San Diego, California. He often says listening to you feels like being in a room with his close friends, and your episodes have been a trusted companion to him, whether he's out on a run, a drive, or just winding down at home. His birthday's coming up on February 19th, and he'll be turning 32. He has no idea I'm writing to you, but I thought it'd be an unforgettable surprise if you could give him a quick shout out on an episode. Here's a fun question to consider for the podcast, keeping it birthday themed. If you could give a gift to someone in in-game item as a real-life birthday present, what would it be and why? Thank you for all the laughs and amazing content you put out every week. Katie. Happy birthday, David B.
Happy birthday, David B.
I would give you, David B, a pow pow. No, we can't hear it, Mike. Okay.
There it is. Mm-hmm.
I just think it's David Byrne.
Probably David Byrne.
Could be Bowie.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I'll tell you the news after.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
What
yeah.
happened?
Is David Bowie back?
That's the news.
Yes.
David B.
I would give someone the the gimmick that Axel is in Twisted Metal 2, where you can just put your arms.
It's
wing.
incredible how often you're thinking about Twisted Metal 2. I don't dislike it. I kind of respect it, but
And
nice.
To be fair, and if I'm thinking about Twisted Metal 2, I am thinking about Axel.
Yeah.
Axel
I mean,
or
that cover
Paris.
art, I've got that poster up there. It's just the flaming Eiffel Tower with Axel screaming and shooting missiles while running over Twister. It's the most video game cover art ever, and I love it.
I do remember like the game insisting that we are aware that Axel is in constant pain.
Yeah, like so
Yeah,
you
he's
would
screaming.
give them the gift of body horror.
No, but when he
Yeah.
screams Axel power, I think he's having fun.
Axel
power.
No one's ever screamed Axel power in agony. That's
Right.
impossible.
Axel should have the least amount of health in the game, right? He is just
he
He's
does.
an exposed human man.
No, I
he's
think
already like injured.
Yeah, the motorcycle man, that's Ghost, has less health still.
Oh, that's
Grimm.
right. That's
Mr.
right,
Grimm
yeah.
is
Mr. Grimm, that's it.
He was my
That's
favorite
canon.
though. His special was great.
I think I did like Ghost. I think Ghost was my favorite.
I would give you
Ghost.
boys a floor chicken from Castlevania. Some good street
Oh.
meat from the Streets of
Mm.
Rage.
Yeah.
Oh,
sounds good.
yeah. That would be pretty good.
I would get one of the glowing chests from Fortnite or Avowed. And just
Ooh.
who knows what's in there. I think it'd just be like the anticipation of opening a chest that's glowing and humming and making noises. I think that'd be exciting.
I think about like a grimoire. Like you just keep it on a
Oh.
bookshelf and then pull it out
Yeah.
and like, oh, I wonder what 4 powers I got here.
I mean, obviously that would rule. Yeah. Do my yard work with
Ooh.
Oh no, I set
Various
the lawn
spells.
on fire again.
Yeah.
I'll give you a
Nice shards.
chocobo from the hit and very important and good series Final Fantasy. I'm just gonna start doing a Final Fantasy filibuster every chance I can get now.
Can that Choco do a kickflip? No? Then get the fuck
No.
out
I
of
mean,
here.
could. Why the hell not?
Mike, I am kind of on your side with Final Fantasy, and you can't keep doing this.
Can't.
You're gonna turn
You
me
sound like
against
a
They
nerd, Mike.
started it.
Now,
Don't
if it was
Why am I in
Parasite Eve you were
trouble?
going to do it for, of course you could do that.
Oh hell, Parasite Eve
Auga.
does rule.
Was that what you got this month?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Yep.
I like the
Oh.
American flag. Is Parasite Eve patriotic?
It's because Squaresoft's coming to America. Can you believe it?
Never mind. I'm not going to say the joke.
What's the joke, Mike?
Yeah,
They
what's
should have
the joke?
spelled coming a different way. I mean the clitoris.
All right, next
The
email.
little twang of
The Blues Brothers.
The Blues Brothers in there is insane.
Yeah, listen.
I mean the clitoris.
That's the
I heard
clitoris
that first,
song.
like, what the fuck was he playing? It's like, oh, that had to be the Blues Brothers.
Yep.
Not yelling at them, Jan. I talk about Final Fantasy for more than 10 seconds. It's a big issue. My Final Fantasy filibuster, which is fun to say, but no, they're allowed to bang on their soundboards and wave their nationalistic magazines at us, and it's okay.
Can't hit the button.
Which one? Oh, Fuddy Duddy.
I'm a
Next,
fuddy duddy.
he landed it.
I'm a
Clean
fuddy
landing.
duddy. I'm not the one who has to get upset when a turn-based RPG is mentioned for a second. Then when the next story is about Tony
We're
Hawk has to
not
make it about how
nerds,
it's better than it. You love Avowed. It's fantasy.
Hey,
It's
Bombers.
fantasy.
I thought, hey, Mike, speaking of nerd stuff, I thought of an analogy of why I hate Lord of the Rings. And it's imagine if in Star Wars, the original trilogy, if everything was the same, but it just focused on the Ewoks as the main story.
I
thing.
would've
Yeah,
done
right,
that.
because they're both short.
Well, no, but it's
Wow,
just like
you're
they're little like
wow,
as Ewok. I like
incredible.
Ewoks. They're like a side little
Incredible.
funny thing, but the
They have
hobbits
so
are
much
just
in
like.
common. Yeah, because they're both short. That's a
But they don't have
great
powers or
parallel.
anything. They don't have powers. They're not like cool.
They don't have powers. Are you 8?
Star Wars had Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and Darth Vader. Lord of the
Han
Rings.
Solo doesn't
If
have
Lord of the Rings
powers.
was about Viggo
What are Han
Mortensen,
Solo's
maybe
powers?
I'd like it.
What are Han Solo's powers?
Being cool.
Oh, okay, cool, great.
I do suggest everyone check out. There's a fun Darth Vader
He's never
comic.
sounded more Costanza than that.
Yeah.
Hit that again.
Actually, I want to check which ones I got here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Fantasy. So
Or
much
just
in
like-
comment. Han Solo's powers. Han
Listen,
Solo's
maybe I'd like
powers.
it. Cool.
They don't have powers. Are you 8?
All right, that's what I got. That's what I got.
There's a fun Darth Vader comic. I think the panel kind of went around the internet where he goes back to Tatooine and he kills Watto. Anyway, next email comes from sent from my iPhone. Hey, Bombers, please keep me anonymous as I can't afford to get fired. I live and work I live and work at a company that has an overwhelmingly hardcore, let's say, deplorable workforce. I did not know this when I first started, and it really didn't show until around June of last year. By then, I was too entrenched in the job and dependent upon the paycheck. Now, as the world is crumbling, it's driving me insane, and I feel immense guilt. I've been actively trying to find a new job, but nothing has materialized, and I don't have the savings to just quit yet without having another job lined up. Do I start subtly sabotaging the business from within? You're giving me too many details.
What
but
did you think was
don't
going to
do
happen
that.
when you started working for ICE? God.
there's a few good people here whose lives I wouldn't want to derail in the aftermath. Do I bite the bullet and quit and hope to find a new job sooner than that? Is staying until I find my next job selfish and a failure to the resistance? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, sent from my iPhone.
Let's be clear. Any job you're working right now is going to send money. They control the government. There's no escaping it. So don't let your guilt screw up anything in your life. Now, if you want to sabotage it slowly from the inside, go to town. Yeah, knock yourself out. That sounds like a fun time.
Yeah.
Don't quit till you got something else lined up. Don't put yourself at
Yeah. Take care of
risk or
yourself first.
danger.
Yes. Take care of yourself. Be selfish in this instance.
That's
yeah.
are you one of the Doge kids or something? I would like some more details, I guess.
Yeah, are you one of Elon Musk's young boys in his boy army?
Imagine if one of them didn't realize how this is kind of some Nazi shit they're doing over here. It's kind of weird, and they're a big fan and writing into it.
Would that be the weirdest thing to happen?
Yeah,
Nah.
can you get me off the antidepressant farm list if you're there? Actually,
Yeah,
I
get
would
us off
really
the
like
farm.
to not go.
Or
I'd
if
like
you
to stay
can't,
here.
assign us to the same farm.
Yeah,
Yes.
at least that. Yeah.
We'll make
Yeah.
a
Assign us to
picture.
the one where they have the podcasting farm, so we can just
Yes.
keep doing what we do. Yeah.
Yes, we need lots of USB cords.
I do not want to be on the podcast farm with other podcasters.
No,
Yeah.
that's true.
No.
What if they
Yeah.
weren't other games podcast people? What if Dan
Worse,
Carlin
that's
was there?
worse.
You
Yeah.
know what?
I'd
Hang on,
do it
Dan
like-
Carlin.
I'd be fine with like Ben Hansen.
Yeah, Ben Hansen, I'd be fine. All right.
Yeah.
Look, the kind of funny crew, sure.
Yeah.
Do not put me on the podcast farm with all these other, I don't want to be next to
Talk
Joe
to
Rogan.
her. We'll see how Joe Rogan and talk to her.
Oh,
There we
great.
go.
Hey, did they find her? Oh, she was missing apparently.
What?
I think so. I'm a little confused about that. Like, yeah, she tried to sell a cryptocurrency and then it failed. But like, is that really like her fault? Isn't the whole point of crypto like you're gambling?
So the way it works these days is it's called a rug pull, where like you introduce the new currency and then everyone buys it, and then you take that money that everyone like as like the fees from them buying it, and then you don't invest in it anymore, and you disappear with that money that they gave you. And that is yes, it is definitely seen as a scam because it is. Is it illegal? I don't. I think they're still figuring all that out. Probably eventually they will legalize that sort of thing.
Legalize it.
I just have a hard time feeling sorry for anybody who buys cryptocurrency. I guess
sure.
Yeah, I don't feel bad at all.
Right.
Next email comes from Dylan from Ontario, Canada. Hey, Bomblinis. I recently received a call from my dad out of the blue. I assumed something terrible happened, but instead he asks, how can I play Super Nintendo? Now, he was talking about shoot hardware, but I'm wondering, is there another console-like device I can preload with games and give him a SNES USB controller with that instead? I figure this would be the cheaper option in the long run, but I worry about having to troubleshoot issues, so I want something easy enough for a 55-year-old immigrant to handle. Do I just buy him a cheap Switch and a controller to show him the online service there? I feel like there's got to be a better way. Any help is appreciated.
Yeah, I've done this a few times as a gift where I've done it with the NES Classic and the SNES Classic, where it's just like, oh, okay, here's someone in my life that likes games, but certainly wouldn't know about like emulation scene and things like that. So it's just like, if you know how to do that stuff, which is very easy to do and very easy to follow YouTube videos and stuff now, just get, I don't know how available like the SNES Classic is on Amazon.
I don't think they're
these
too
days.
expensive. I think they're still like hovering around how much they cost. They cost when you originally bought them, maybe a little bit more, but
Looks like you
they're
can get
still
one
worth
for
it
like
for
$160 on Amazon right now.
Yeah, it's a little expensive.
It's a bit much. There's definitely cheaper ways to do it, and you could just
Right.
get like an
Raspberry
8-bit do. Actually, yeah, just got on my desk here. I got the new Genki one. That's 8-bit do, and it's great. So you just get like a $40 controller, and then what would be the easiest way, Grubb?
I mean, SNES Mini clearly is the easiest. So then what is the one that is like more affordable than that? Probably a Raspberry Pi that you put RetroPie on so it just works. But boy, that is playing with fire in case anything does go wrong.
Right. Trying to think of the most like foolproof option. I
I
mean,
mean-
if you're fine spending the money on a SNES Mini, that's
And
the
apparently
actual
they're more like
controller and
$80 on eBay. So
Okay.
Okay, that's
apparently it's
totally
not
reasonable at that point.
terrible. And it's not that hard to get games on. Even I was able to do it. I'm not much for this kind of stuff usually. So yeah, that would.
I would like go
probably make
Facebook Marketplace, see if you can find a Super Nintendo Mini, and just follow the YouTube guides. It's super simple. Once that thing's working, it'll just work the way it's intended to work. So yeah.
All right. Appreciate all of the lovely emails that everyone sent in, especially when you sent them in last week, but they got caught up in the Bombcast spam folder. See, that's the thing, folks. If you sign us up for too many dumb emails and we don't have any emails to read on the show, not only does Mike Minotti not get paid,
right.
but we also can't read any emails. And
supposed to get paid?
What?
I'm supposed to get paid? That'd be incredible.
Did you see that shit that happened to me on UPF last Friday?
Grubb,
You
I'm
go-
going to
you-
say, I can't believe the contractors tried to unionize against you.
Right in front of me.
Where's
Yeah.
our video cards, damn it?
Well, there was no decorum, completely uncivil.
Freaking
They're
Dan's been
animals.
crying about retro tinks that he doesn't need.
Grubb got one. Backlar approved one
Because
for
he doesn't
Grubb.
have a retro tink. You never had one. You have one. But I don't
Older
have the
one.
new one.
It's older.
I don't have the new one. Lord of the Rings is like Star Wars if they were Ewoks, because those are the two short people I know in media.
That was a pretty compelling argument, Dan. I
Thank you.
I bought in.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right.
Killed me. I was streaming a day or two ago, and I was talking about how I got a oral surgery situation going on Thursday, and I'm going to be. It's 3 hours long, and so I'm paying for the sedation, which insurance doesn't cover any of this shit. And the sedation alone is like $2,200. And then someone in the chat just said like, "Oh, do you know how many retro tanks that would be?" And it killed me. It's like, oh man, that's like 3 retro tanks.
Yeah.
That's money well spent, though. I don't want to be awake for that.
3 hours of getting my face drilled in. No.
No.
Yeah.
Plus, like, it's fun. It's fun to put.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
like
fun to
that.
be drugs.
Defender.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's good stuff.
You're right, Mike Minotti.
You know,
Yeah.
Like Michael Jackson shouldn't have had that happen, but I see how I see how it got there.
You want to live in anesthesiologist?
I'm like, he should not have done it, but like, I get how it happened.
Shouldn't have done a lot of things, Mike.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like you're not taking a harsh enough stance against. You're like, he shouldn't have done that, but
Look,
Mike's very pro Michael Jackson. Yeah.
no.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm so confused about the canceled status of Michael Jackson. To be clear, he should be, but he's just not. Like,
There are people that weirdly deny that he did a lot of wrongdoing, which is insane. But also, I think there's just a bit of like, these songs are really good. We're gonna keep
yeah, I
playing
just
them in
really
this bar.
like his music.
like this Halloween, all my nephews and nieces were dancing to a new Sing special that was just them all dancing to Thriller, and I was like, this guy's not canceled. What are we talking about?
It's like something about his music. It's different than like, there's not really a threat of like, if Bill Cosby had not been canceled, it's not like people are going to be putting on old Cosby episodes.
It's like, oh no, we
they're going
can't
to play
listen to
Smooth
him.
Criminal at a bar. You know?
Yeah,
Right.
I think Michael Jackson might be the most canceled if you think about it in some ways. In
Well, he's
terms
dead.
of
Dying?
in terms
Oh,
of
yeah,
him
he
not
died.
yes, in terms of
Yeah.
him being dead.
because of the anesthesia thing, which he shouldn't have done. But
well,
I
right,
see
you
how
are
he got
desperate
there.
for him to live, right? So he could be
He had
uncanceled
said
and
it.
thriving.
It's the way you make me feel. That's why we can't stop the music. R. Kelly, though, go get fucked. No, don't.
Did you see, by the
actually.
way, it was very funny. They did on the SNL 50 thing. They did a montage in memoriam of all the things that aged poorly in terms
Yeah.
of like blackface and just racial insensitive stuff and everything. Like just actually showing a montage of all the shit they've done over the years. Like, this doesn't look good now.
Yep.
No.
I haven't watched that. Was it pretty good? SNL 50?
You know what? It's what you'd expect it to be. It is a big play the hits and have a bunch of celebrity cameos things. But as far as one of those goes, it was very good. There's if you seek out one thing, there was a really good Sandler song that was actually really touching. Yeah.
Eddie Murphy does a very good Tracy Morgan imitation with Tracy
Yes.
Morgan directly next to it.
Okay.
I couldn't help but think of like it's the same feeling I have when it's like, oh, some young wrestler gets to share the ring with like AJ Styles or something.
Yeah.
Just thinking of these like young, like early 20s cast members where it's like you are in a sketch with Will Ferrell and Eddie Murphy. They've got to be like their heads have to be exploding. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel watching the qualifiers for Tournament of Champions on the Food Network.
oh yeah, it's incredible. It's like that's Ann Burrell you're in there with right now.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
It's like, dude, you're going against Josh Sawyer. Oh my god. Anyway, last email of the show comes from CPA Dave from Florida. Syllables. Hello. Is Grubb one syllable or two syllables? Does the extra B make it an extra syllable? Thanks. I love you too, CPA Dave from Florida.
There's
Grubb.
an education problem in this country and in the world. How would the extra B possibly ever make it an extra syllable? That's just an extra letter. No.
Grubb.
There's no you have
I
to
think
have a
this is
vowel
trolling.
for it to be another syllable.
Yeah, I think this is a joke.
Yeah.
No, I'm shooting
Fuddy-duddy.
hard.
Fuddy-duddy.
Fuddy-duddy. Grubb. No. Oh, wait a second though. Grubb. Oh,
No.
it does open up again, doesn't it?
No.
Grubb.
Grubb. Was I too quick to judge here? Grubb.
Did you convince yourself?
Grubb.
I
I
don't
might have
like
to do some
this thing
research.
you're doing.
Do some research.
I had to grub.
You're gonna have to get
It's
way
two.
higher than you are right
One,
now to
two.
be able to figure this one out.
Grub. Okay, that's interesting. All right, I apologize. I may have spoken out of turn there. I'm not saying that you're right, but there's a more compelling argument than I initially
Listen,
thought.
I got enough syllables to go around. All right, there's enough syllables for everybody.
All right.
The two B's stand for Blues Brothers.
fuck off.
Hey!
All right, that about does it for emails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address to send your emails to. I love and appreciate all the emails you send. I'm gonna go look in the spam folder, unmark them as spam. We had like 20 questions from Travis, and I'm still on the fence about letting Travis back in.
We'll see.
Yeah, maybe you've done your time, Travi. But folks, rest of this week, Grubb Gameist mornings popping off from Wednesday to Friday.
That's right. We were off Monday. That's why there was no episode, in case you were wondering. But we're back Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, everybody. So look out for that. And feels like news is going to be popping off now for the next few weeks for sure.
We have another episode of the Lightning Round with Jeff Grubb. Please go tune in for that tomorrow. Voicemail.
You'll have a
dump truck.
beat.
What?
We were saying like 2 episodes probably for these lightning round games, so you'll have a beat tomorrow.
Yeah, totally. It's gonna end tomorrow, and then we'll move on to the next person. Voicemail dump truck on Thursday. Probably a BCR, probably a UPF of sorts on Friday. But Dan, we got something going on tomorrow.
The Great Giant Bomb Hole Off. That's right, featuring all 4 of us on this current podcast. We will be racing to dig a hole.
That's right. This is a podcast about a stream, about a game, about digging a hole.
That's right. That's correct.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, cool. Also, we're going to go to Hawaii for Game of the Year. We're just going to keep saying that until it actually happens.
Yeah.
Aloha, folks. We'll see you there in beautiful Hawaii.
Grubb's going to reenact Pearl Harbor.
Oh, God.
The movie, not the historical event.
Yeah, of course. What everyone think of it. No, I would never.
Actually, they do have a lot of fun Hello Kitty memorabilia at Pearl Harbor, so maybe it'd be a fun visit.
Yeah.
So they really won in the end, if you think about it.
Yeah, cultural victory.
Yeah, believe me, I
Japan.
am very confused. Folks, that does it for another episode of the Giant Bombcast. Aloha, aloha, hoy. We'll see you there. He's been Mike, he's been Dan, he's been Grubby, I've been Jan. You at home have been beautiful. We love you. That's right. Get your plane tickets ready, Nikki. We're gonna hit the beach. Let's go surfing at the beach. I love you guys. Goodbye.